It should all be set. I will tell you, I stayed up until 8 a.m. this morning playing Honkai Star Rail.
Oh.
I caught up on everything.
Oh, that's good.
Everything.
So the one stream where you said, "Oh, I'm gonna play the story on stream," you played none of the story on stream, and now you have done all the story, so there's no way for you to play any of the story on stream.
So,
Oh, guess we have to leave it up to Taryn.
Darren. Bro's got so much story to catch up on. He
hasn't even done 2.0 yet.
He hasn't done 2.0. Oh, also though, I wasn't paying attention at all. So what happened?
You mean like in the Honkai story?
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. We're
okay. I was about to be like,
It's true that I wasn't paying attention, but we don't have to talk about that on stream.
okay. Let me just make sure my audio's.
Oh yeah, I should do that thingy too.
Okay. Make sure I'm unmuted. Yep. All right. We're good and ready to go then, it seems. Let's get right back into it, ladies and gentlemen. Back to our regularly scheduled program.
Tuesday Umineko. Tuesday Neko. Yeah, there.
I do not remember where we left off, just that we... Oh, wait, no, yes, I do.
Yeah, there's the wolves and sheep.
Yeah, wolves and sheep, and all of them were like, we'll give up our keys because we are really sad that you don't trust us, Rosa. And Rosa was like, great, fantastic. And then they left, and she immediately started slandering them again.
Yes, and it was because they said that the body of Kanon came back to life and killed Kumasawa and Nanjo.
Which it did actually do.
Yes. And then Shannon scared it away with the spider web.
All of these things were the truth, though.
Yeah. And so now here we are. And then, of course, George was like, I don't like you anymore, Rosa, and went with the servants.
Yep. So now it's just, in the other room, it's just Rosa, Battler, and Maria, which is a wild combination.
Yep. And then here we have George, Shannon, Genji, and Goda. And then Kinzo's somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do it. I can't believe it. Are you saying that's the truth? Yes. We've told you everything as we saw it.
George folded his arms and started mumbling. I read it as numbling. I was like, what is numbling? Started mumbling again. And the kitchen was once again wrapped in a long silence. George-sama, I'm fully aware how hard it must be for you to believe all that so suddenly. After all, even though I saw it with my own eyes, I grow less and less sure what it was I actually saw. I'm sure I saw it. I thought you just said you grew less and less sure. And I'm sure I got into a fight too.
Oh, that's right, that was funny.
I almost feel like it was all an illusion.
I see. So that's why you couldn't go into the details in front of Aunt Rosa. If you actually told her what you've just told me, you'd probably be in even more trouble. Yeah, Genji-san really did handle that one composedly, didn't he?
If only I had the power to explain it myself. George had not actually seen it, and even when pressed to believe, he just couldn't imagine it. It was only natural, because even the people who had actually seen it had given up asking themselves what it was.
Let's rewind the story a bit. Shannon, you said that when you thought Kanon-kun was an imposter, you picked up some spiderwebs and came back, right? Why did you do that?
That's right. I was thinking about that as well. Why spiderwebs?
I happened to hear it from Kumasawa-san once. A long time ago, evil spirits lived on Rokenjima, and they, feared spider webs. And they say there's a legend that people treasured spider webs as amulets. Okay, so this gives even deeper lore than just the thing I was talking about last stream.
Yep.
And, right at that moment, I think I was also a bit confused.
When it comes to those old stories, Kumasawa was very knowledgeable.
Well, spiders are very useful bugs, after all.
They're not bugs, George.
Yes, it wouldn't be at all strange for a belief system like that to come into being.
They're arachnids.
I was waiting for her to say it. I'm sure.
Ow.
That the Torii shrine was suppressing the power of those evil spirits. And because the spirit mirror was broken, that power came back.
The spirit mirror was broken. No.
True. That power must be what allowed Beatrice-sama to revive. If I, weak-hearted as I am, hadn't done such an outrageous thing. Ah!
It's all your fault. It's
True.
all your fault.
Shannon, you don't have to worry about that anymore. I don't blame you for it.
Since long ago, Shannon had often suggested that there was some kind of occult cause for her meeting with George. After listening to her, George had grown to think that she was being a typical girl, associating love with fate, chance, and miracles. He did think that smashing the spirit mirror offered at the Torii shrine was taking it a bit far, but he'd laughed it off and forgiven her, thinking of it as just a prank that showed how serious she was about her relationship with him. Just breaking a mirror in some musty shrine wouldn't have changed the fate of our meeting. And it would never cause any curse. He tried to cheer her up, saying it was only a musty mirror covered in dust. Ever since I started working on this island, I've heard the story of a spirit called Beatrice-sama from several co-workers. In the beginning, I thought it was ridiculous. But since it would appear indiscreet to say anything out loud, outwardly, I conducted myself as though I also believed it. But could it really? Shannon?
Sorry, I was muted because I was clicking.
Oh.
She existed. Beatrice-sama was in the mansion all along, this mansion. But she'd lost her powers and wasn't able to appear before us. She did exist all this time. It's just that we couldn't see her. I'd like to hear Genji-san's opinion.
I have no opinion.
Dang.
All I want to say is that at that time, there were 5 of us in this room. Then, I thought that Kanon had returned through the back door. After that, we carried him to the servant room. Something happened, and now Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa will never come back to us. That is all. We have already explained everything we saw. I understand how unreasonable it would be to try and force belief from one who didn't witness those events, such as yourself. How could he believe it? I was sure it was Kanon-san, but it got up from the bed. And, that's right, when it started to grope about that wound in its chest in that manner, I felt sure that it wasn't Kanon-san, but something else. I doubt you'll be able to understand, George-sama. The terror of that moment when the person I thought I knew well exposed that it was in fact someone else entirely. I can't explain. I can't explain it at all.
I understand. I can tell that whatever happened, it was terrifying enough to give you such a shock.
Thank you very much, George-sama. And they all fell silent again. Shannon kept crying no matter how many times she was consoled, thinking that listening to the witch's secret whispers, sweet whispers, and breaking the spirit mirror on that day had been the mistake that ruined everything. It's all your fault. It's all your fault.
The witch who whispered these things to you loses her powers if that mirror exists, right? I think she explained it to me a little, but I don't really remember. I think she said something about how she couldn't release her power as long as that mirror existed. What happened to this mirror that you broke? I don't remember. I left it behind when I broke it, so it's probably just how I left it. So when, as they say, the reef was struck by lightning and disappeared, it must have sank to the bottom of the ocean.
Damn.
Well, I doubt picking it up and taping it together would make it start working again.
Beatrice was 2 steps ahead of you, George.
Yeah. Ha 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 ha. What have I done? Sorry. I shouldn't have said that. Wow.
He didn't know if Shannon breaking the mirror really had started all this off, though the servants didn't blame Shannon, as they all seemed to believe that her actions had been the root cause. They. But even now, George wasn't able to go that far. All this talk about witches and evil spirits just sounded fake to him, even though he was trying to be open-minded. Even so, he listened seriously to Shannon's story, trying to find a hint that might relieve at least a little of the pain in her heart. Come to think of it, though it's surely different from the one in the Tory, I have heard that Madam keeps a spirit mirror as a charm.
Really? At Nazi?
Yes. I believe she received it as a memento from her grandfather or something, and that it functioned as a powerful ward against magic. A spirit mirror of high pedigree, I think. I have also heard the same story. Something about the mirror having the power to reflect that which is not good and send it back.
Dang, she could have used that in the last episode. If we had that spirit mirror, could we resist Beatrice since she's a witch? Huh?
When George proposed this, the servants looked up.
The shrine and the Torii where it was kept are gone now, but the important thing is that there's still another spirit mirror. I've heard that Aunt Natsuhi's family is descended from Shinto priests.
Okay,
Whoa.
that's why. I was about to be like, why did Natsuhi's family just have a spirit mirror? Are they also wizards? No, they're clerics.
True. Maybe that isn't just a simple mirror.
I'm sure I've heard Madam say she keeps it in a treasure box. It might not be very large.
I don't think its size is a problem.
Congratulations, George.
Him in the corner. Yeah!
Yeah.
Oh. Even the mirror I broke was just a small, insignificant looking thing. If our opponent is a cult, then we'll have to use the occult to fight back. Sitting around here won't solve anything. It's worth trying, if only for some peace of mind.
Of course, this didn't mean George had accepted the witch. However, he thought it'd be necessary to have some kind of purification ceremony to heal the wounds in Shannon's heart. So this story about Natsuhi's spirit mirror was really convenient.
Let's go. I won't say anything crazy like let's go get it and finish off the witch. However, I think it'd be useful to have some sort of charm that can protect us from her. Maria-chan told me about it earlier, but the door to Grandfather's room was supposed to be able to repel magic, right? That's our grandfather for you. It means he was pretty good on defense when it comes to the occult. Let's go. To Aunt Natsuhi's room.
But I think Madam's room is locked. We returned the master keys to Rosa-sama. And even the key box in the servant room is now locked away.
In that case, Aunt Natsuhi should have had a key on her person.
Ew.
Yeah. And Natsuhi's corpse should still be in the chapel. We probably shouldn't be disturbing it before the police come, but we can give a full explanation later.
However, the entrance to the chapel is also locked.
Goda-san, can't you break a single glass window with your physical strength? You could smash it with a nearby rock.
Would it, really be okay to break the window of that important chapel?
When Grandfather gets mad at us, I'll take responsibility. From the beginning, I've been ready to fight the whole Ushiromiya family today. I've got to get them to accept my engagement to you. So I've been prepared from the start. Let's break the glass. Then let's borrow the key from Aunt Natsuhi's corpse.
George's announcement that he'd take responsibility seemed to have given the servants a great deal of courage. Shannon and Gora looked at each other, and then looked at George's face again.
Grandfather knows everything about the occult. I'm sure he'll understand if it's the power of Aunt Natsuhi's spirit mirror we're talking about. Don't worry, he won't get mad at you.
I wonder if Madame's mirror will really be able to see Beatrice-sama once again.
I don't know. But I think it's worth trying. So let's go. It's getting darker and darker outside. Quickly. Shannon, get a flashlight. Goda-san, find something that looks like it can break the glass. Sorry, Genji, but can you be on umbrella duty?
Yes, sir.
The servants, who had been rejected by Rosa, gained a new master and started to move. George, who was normally calm and gentle, was now radiating dignity. Shannon checked the emergency flashlight. Just in case, she changed the batteries. Goro was testing several heavy-looking cooking tools. Normally, a highly praised chef like him wouldn't want to use them for something other than their intended purpose. But now, he was frantic to fulfill the orders of the one he accepted as his master.
What's a heavy-looking cooking tool?
Cast iron pan.
Yeah.
After some worrying, he took a large, thick-feeling frying pan. Genji removed several umbrellas from the umbrella stand set in the corner near the kitchen door. He took 3 of them.
Genji-san?
I cannot go with you. It would be embarrassing for me as the head servant of the Ushiromiya family if we were all gone when an order is given. But Genji-san, even you must understand how dangerous it is to be alone in this mansion now. I cannot go. I must remain here so that the master can call for me at any time.
Genji-sama.
Go. And obey George-sama. Be careful not to make any blunders. Goda, I am counting on you to set an example. Yes. Leave it to me.
I will surely fulfill my duty.
You're sure about this, right, Genji-san?
Yes. I am already at this age. All the days of my life until now have been spent repaying the debt I owe the master. The roulette will decide the fate of a senile old man like myself. I will sit here and see what the result will be with my own eyes.
Oh my gosh, Genji! Genji!
Okay, I have to make sure. Yeah, okay. Just to check, make sure. Every time I mute and unmute myself, I need to make sure that I actually did it, so I alt tab briefly to check. As Genji said that, he sat down, as though saying that he didn't intend to discuss this anymore. His gaze fell to the chessboard that he'd play Nanjo on. When George saw this, he decided to leave Genji there.
Let's go, everyone. It looks like the wind has died down a bit for now.
When George took an umbrella and dashed down the hallway, Shannon and Goda chased after him, each holding a tool.
We're still here.
Genji seen?
Genji scene?
After they flew out of the room, Genji quietly stretched his hand out to the side of the chessboard. He softly pulled something there towards himself, covering it with his palm. Genji killed his breathing even more than before. As he did, something flashed gold. From inside an ice pail set on the counter, a small gold butterfly appeared softly and silently. It was almost as though it had been George. It had seen George and the rest off, and was trying to secretly chase after them. It happened in an instant. The elegant gold butterfly, flapping its wings, was pinned against the wall by the knife Genji threw, just like a butterfly in a bug collection. After the gold butterfly beat its wings several times, looking like it was in pain, it accepted the fact that it couldn't break free, became fine gold powder and smoke, and disappeared as though it had melted into water. Genji still gazed down at the chessboard, as though nothing had happened. Maybe he would think up a brilliant move very soon. But no matter what move he made, his opponent would not be able to respond for all eternity. Even though he knew that, Genji searched for a brilliant move. It must have been the perfect way to kill time during the short period before some fate would be given to him. He didn't know what result the roulette would bring about, but that decision would be made very soon. No one could interfere with the tumbling roulette ball.
Genji's goaded.
Always has been. The door to the parlor was not only locked, but blocked with a barricade made of sofas and the like. Because of that, we had to sleep on the floor because Aunt Rosa was being a paranoid bitch.
Oh my gosh.
No, sorry, that's not what it said. Aunt Rosa seemed to suspect that any suspicious person approaching would break in through the window. Oh, I was kind of right. Sitting on a one-person sofa, yeah, her back to the door, she continued to hold on to her gun. I didn't know what was what anymore. And even though my body and mind were worn out, I played with Maria as she wanted. Maria had said it. Beatrice was testing us to see if we could solve the epitaph of the gold. So we had to try and figure out this riddle. Are we actually gonna make progress on this a little bit?
No.
Please. Like, you don't even have to solve it. Just a little bit. Just figure out something. Just figure out one thing. In the beginning, I was a little interested and tried to solve it. But I didn't even have a clue where to start in this weird text. I didn't doubt that there was some riddle hidden there, but I seriously doubted I'd be able to suddenly leap to an answer. In the middle part of the epitaph, there were lines going from the 1st to the 10th twilight telling us to journey to the Golden Land. On the 1st twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. On the 2nd twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. It was obvious that this hinted at the first 6 murders that had already occurred in the chapel and Jessica and Kanon-kun's murders. if this was being followed, we still had to be prepared for 5 more people to be killed. On the 4th twilight, gouge the head and kill. On the 5th twilight, gouge the chest and kill. On the 6th twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the 7th twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the 8th twilight, gouge the leg and kill. Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa Bachan's corpses still haven't been found. However, if this follows the pattern, and they're the sacrifices for the 4th and 5th twilights, they'll surely be found in a pitiful state, with their head and chest gouged. So, can we expect that 3 more of us will be gouged in the stomach, knee, and leg and killed? Ugh. My nose is running. Who will
Well,
it
you better
be?
go catch it.
I looked around the room, noticing that there were 3 people here, but how should I put it? My emotions seemed paralyzed. Strangely, I didn't feel frightened. As I leaned against the sofa with the top part of my body gazing up at the ceiling, Maria noticed. Apparently, she felt I was slacking off in my riddle solving. She got mad at me for not taking this seriously enough. Hey, Maria.
Huh?
What was it again that Beatrice said she'd do if we solved this? I'm sure the witch wrote in her letter that she'd give up on collecting interest, or something abstract like that. I optimistically took that to mean she'd give up on killing the whole family. That's what you sound like, Battler. But was it really written with that meaning? For some reason, I couldn't convince myself that solving the riddle would really save me. I don't know why I yawn so much when we play Umineko.
Because it's a boring, stupid story. No, okay.
Maybe it's because, usually when we play Umineko, it's after I've done all my stuff for the day, so, my body's like, yeah, you're winding down now.
Well, for real, it's because you're reading.
Oh, true.
You know how people read before they go to bed? Mm-hmm. It has that effect on your brain. Make you sleepy.
I feel like, maybe, even if we do solve it, we'll just be doing what the culprit wants, and it'll all be a wasted effort.
That's a good point. Oh, you were reading the text.
No, that's not true. If you solve the epitaph, Beato's ceremony will end. So, after that, no more people will die.
Really? Isn't that rule just something she made up? Whoever solves this riddle will probably learn the location of Grandfather's hidden gold. Then she'll definitely go after it, and...
She won't go after it.
How can you be so sure?
The gold has been Beatrice's from the beginning. She wouldn't go after something that's hers.
Then why is Beatrice giving us all these big hints? Not just that. Why did she even set up this game-like thing?
Risk is essential for magic.
Risk? I don't really know what you mean.
It's a board game.
True. Coming this Saturday. No.
For example, in a marathon, do you think a medal anyone can get by running the whole thing is worth the same thing as a medal given only to the person who gets first?
No, I don't. So, what does this mean? In the end, she's just playing with us? Purposefully giving us a chance?
Wrong. That's how magic works. No matter how great a work of magic is, it'll always have risks and weak points. No, it must have them.
I don't get this stuff you call magic. But if I think about it as a gamble, I can understand a little. Adventurine! Yo, he's just like Adventurine!
Yo, oh my gosh.
It's all or nothing!
Yeah.
If
That
you
was
are,
said in English, by the way, in the Japanese dub.
that's funny.
All or nothing.
If you aren't prepared to lose big, then you can't win big. And the slimmer the chances of winning, the bigger the payoff.
That's right. And Beato really did explain the risk of the ceremony to everyone. So, if this riddle is solved, the ceremony will be suspended. After all, if she breaks her promises, there wouldn't be any risk.
If we solve this, will she really keep her promise?
Why are flowers beautiful even though they wither? Why is it that an artificial flower isn't beautiful, no matter how we elaborate it is, even when you can't tell the difference by looking? Humans can bring about miracles by gambling on their deaths. If an undying human existed, they'd have no way of bringing about a miracle. That goes for us, life, the witch, and the ceremony too. If we don't bear a risk, we can't succeed in anything.
What do we do if we solve the riddle? Should we raise a hand and cry, "I got it"? Tell the witch our answer and see what she says?
No, I don't know about that. But if we solve it, the ceremony will surely end automatically.
You sure know a lot, Maria. Did you learn all of that from Beatrice?
Oh,
So, if you don't bear a risk, nothing can be gained. Is that it? That definitely is the way of the world. But it's sort of in conflict with the chessboard thinking I like so much. At least when making moves in chess, players grope for the best move, always trying to avoid risk and hoping for an advantageous turn of events. They don't trust a chance, like in gambling. That's right, there's no room for gambling in an intellectual game. And yet, this person called Beatrice has created such an outrageous crime, or maybe a ceremony, while purposefully imposing conditions for her own loss and announcing them to us. In chess, you always want to play your best move. So, by putting yourself in your opponent's position, you can predict their next move. However, we can't be sure that Beatrice's moves are always the best possible moves. I thought she was probably making us focus on the epitaph to fool us in some way, speaking in riddles. But according to Maria, that alone was impossible. She said this was a genuine risk that the witch had taken, and therefore proof that this was a formal ceremony for magic. I can't understand this witch called Beatrice. If she's committing this chain of murders with some goal in mind, why'd she go to all the trouble of exposing the conditions for her defeat? No matter how I spin the chessboard around and think from my opponent's perspective, I can't understand why she'd give up if this riddle is solved. Isn't it almost as though Beatrice doesn't care whether she wins or loses? Of course, chessboard reasoning won't work against an opponent like that. I don't understand. I don't understand. What is Beatrice after that's making her carry out this crime? If she just wanted to massacre us all, she could have done it quietly, without this whole crazy setup. There was no need for that kind-hearted advance notice, all this self-aware, closed-room stuff, or any of the rest. It's all overacting. I've got no clue what it means. Will I be unable to understand everything? As long as I keep thinking of Beatrice as a greedy human culprit? Probably. If I don't accept her as a witch, will
my chessboard thinking be stuck before I even lined up the pieces?
It's what Maria said earlier. You won't understand because your opponent's a witch. She's playing witch chess, bro.
Yeah. It's chess but cooler. It involves gambling.
Yeah, they fly a little bit.
They fly now.
Ugh!
If she really is a witch, and everything Maria said is true, then there's only one thing for us to do. The theory building and discord and searching for the culprit has all been pointless. We should have all gathered in the dining hall, combining our knowledge to solve the riddle. By combining the knowledge of that many people, we might have been able to grasp at least a thread of the answer. The greedy humans, each desiring to gain something over their opponents, were getting offered up as sacrifices one by one without gathering their knowledge together. In the end, did the humans get what they deserved? They thought they were using their brains, but they were actually thinking only for their greedy selves. In the end, the chessboard theory is a thinking technique where you project yourself on your opponent.
What?
The song in the end.
Oh!
It starts with...
Yeah!
So greedy people see their greedy selves inside their opponents. Ugh.
What?
I looked lazily at Aunt Rosa. She was probably tired from being under all this tension the whole time. She couldn't sleep, but she kept staring vaguely at some point off in space. Aunt Rosa had announced that we couldn't trust anyone who hadn't been killed. Aunt Rosa's chessboard thinking saw herself inside her opponent. In other words, maybe Aunt Rosa was an isolated woman, unable to trust anyone, and unable to let her guard down. What?
Nuh-uh.
Long ago, I think I heard a bit about it from my dad. Aunt Rosa was originally a very obedient child, but her age was far too separated from the other siblings, and they often made conflicting demands of her during their confrontations. Thanks to this, she'd undergone a lot of psychologically harsh experiences in her youth. Often, when she copied one of her siblings, another sibling would give her a hard time. True, Aunt Rosa said many things today that could be taken as abusive. But that means those words were once showered upon her, which is why they were engraved in her vocabulary. The many abusive words that she'd spoken were also words that she'd been showered with in the past. Now that I think about it, I've had the feeling that her style of speech sometimes has traces of Uncle Kraus or Aunt Eva in it. I'd understood it as them being similar because they were siblings, but maybe it wasn't just that. For the first time, I truly sympathized with Aunt Rosa, who I'd always assumed was just quiet and gentle. Then what about Maria? Maria's been making a certain claim for a while now. If we can solve the riddle the witch displayed to us, the ceremony will be halted and will definitely be saved. And I think she also said that Beatrice will never break a promise. But this is Maria we're talking about. She's weird.
Yeah!
And evil.
True, actually, probably true.
She herself never breaks promises, and she has the most innocent heart. So she believes Beatrice also won't break her promises. She's able to believe that. But isn't that just an image of Beatrice in Maria's mind? There's no proof that the real Beatrice always keeps her promises, right? Damn!
I keep my promises. If you solve the riddle of the epitaph, you should be able to reach the Golden Land. When you do, the ceremony will end.
Oh, whoop-de-freaking-do. You're not telling the one in there, you're telling the one in here.
No more people will die.
So you're saying a complete monster like you follows the rules?
I won't deny that I am brutal and unjust and a monster.
I'm sorry, it's just the face she's making is making me think of Battler being like, "You're a monster," and then the emoticon of the :3.
Oh,
Like that's her, is :3
True.
right now.
whoopsies,
Yeah.
lols. However, I am a witch. I use magic. In order to use magic, there are some rules that must be followed. Because I am a witch, I cannot neglect those. You should believe at least that much.
So even after all the crazy stuff you've done, you're still telling me to believe at least in the rules.
I do play tricks. Of course, I also deceive people. I am no different from humans in that regard. But not once have I disregarded a promise I've spoken. What about humans? Do you always keep your promises?
Since we have catchphrases like "keep your promises," it's hard to imagine that we always follow them properly.
From my perspective, humans are the truly selfish monsters.
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing as dubious as a human's promise. Even I sometimes make contracts with humans, but you wouldn't imagine how strict an agreement must be made just to grant a single foolish wish. If there's even a small loophole, they'll immediately say something like increase the number of wishes to 100, or go turn yourself into a bean.
Yeah?
A classic. A true
Yeah?
human classic.
Certified human classic. Turn the strange magical creatures into beans.
Mm-hmm.
There's this thing Dad always says. He says there's nothing as scary as contracts. According to him, it's only natural that people who sign without reading them thoroughly will get chewed to the bone. He's made a killing through vice.
Imagine it. When people are born, they know nothing of fraud. They get it from somewhere. And so they learn it. Yes, the crimes of the human world where people must press up against each other. Let me see, I've heard that from a witch somewhere. Oh well. I'm not as heartless as you think, you see?
Liar. You killed so many people. And you did it in such a horrible way, too. How could you not be heartless? You say you keep your promises? Don't say stuff like that. I won't accept you. Ever. I believe my only way to resist you is never giving up on that.
I see.
Pegging time.
So you're saying this eternal torture will be the same for me?
We did this already at the end of episode 1.
Perhaps. 1,000 years is a long time.
Although it was a lot less somber than this.
Uh-huh.
Now it's like melancholic.
Yes. Maybe a witch's true strength is decided not by their magical power, but by the strength of their endurance. Yes, I can accept how terrifying Lady Byrne is.
Say hi, Burn.
I can't think of how she sounds. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Damn you. Babbling on and on about this incomprehensible stuff. Let's quickly get back to this eternal torture. I'm prepared to stick around for 1,000 years, or even 10,000 years.
Good, good. It looks like you've regained some of your will to fight. It would be boring otherwise. Come now, don't you often see it in competitive games? Wing.
Yeah, I was about to
Sometimes
say.
one player intrudes on their opponent's territory, but the opponent is so weak that it's a bit of an anticlimax. So the first player loses on purpose to extend the game until the last round, during which they get serious and shower their opponent with blows, right?
I don't get what that means.
It's the same as wine. If you don't let it age well, it won't sparkle. You're the same as that wine.
She's grooming you, Battler.
I'll carefully make you age.
She's grooming you, Battler.
I'll raise you to be the best alcohol to adorn my elegant time. So don't give up after only this much. Keep on denying me. After all, as long as you don't accept me, I'm nothing more than a fleeting illusion. Yeah, you get the point. That's a lot. That's
Yep.
a lot.
Brief Maria frame before disappearing into darkness.
True. So, she always keeps
Oh.
her promises.
They broke the chapel window.
They
She
did.
always keep her promises.
It's in red. Okay. No matter how many times I see it, it's awful.
I truly sympathize. Shannon-san, please get the key. Even though she is dead, Madam is a lady. I cannot touch her.
Of course.
Shannon nodded sharply, her expression filled with a sense of duty. George, Goda, and Shannon had broken a suitable window and were inside the chapel. Since they really hadn't wanted to break one, they'd searched for another way in, just in case. But in the end, after proving once again that there was nowhere they could slip in through, it only became more obvious that this chapel was a mysterious, closed room. Inside the chapel, time had stopped, ever since the last time they'd left it. Even George wasn't able to approach that gruesome Halloween party again. It was only natural. It reminded him again of the sadness of losing both parents at once. And Goda, thinking of the possibility that those corpses might have changed in some horrible way now that half a day had passed, didn't want to let George get near them. Shannon followed Goda's instructions and approached the party table. Normally, Shannon might have resented having another dirty job
Whoa.
forced on her. But now, she could truly understand Goda's mental state. Even though Goda had prodigious skill, he'd gotten dragged into trouble, losing his job and ending up left out in the streets before Natsuhi gave him a new life. Though it had been just a casual employment decision for Natsuhi, Goda must have thought it a turning point in his fate. Those around Goda could see that he felt a special kind of loyalty to Natsuhi. So he probably didn't want to lose that feeling, even after her death.
Candy.
Ketchup. Now that half a day had passed, the bodies of Natsuhi and the rest had changed completely. Small bugs sniffing out the smell of death had started to gather.
Ewy.
It really wasn't something you'd want to look at directly.
Madam, excuse me.
I'm a bug. Because of her long
would be on
experience,
Natsuhi. Never mind me.
because of because of her long experience as a servant, Shannon had an idea of which pocket Natsuhi kept the key to her room in. It would probably be this pocket.
Wink.
Her guess didn't fail her. Just by touching the outside of the pocket, she was immediately able to feel it.
It's here. The key to Madam's room.
Shannon held the key up high, showing the others that it had been found. As George and Goda watched her, their eyes opened wide. That wasn't the expression Shannon was expecting, so it startled her. Uh-oh. After all, Shannon hadn't noticed. George and Goda, watching from afar, noticed it first.
This song is Red Dread. This is the sound that sounds like Jaws.
It does sound like Jaws. A blizzard of gold leaf had seeped up from around the table. They were countless gold butterflies. It was the first time George had seen them, so it might have looked like some kind of illusion. But Goda already knew. He knew that those gold butterflies were far from beautiful, and that they would bring about some kind of misfortune. And that gold swelled, trying to suck Shannon in. Shannon-san! Run!
Huh? Yeah!
Shannon also realized that gold butterflies were trying to swallow her up. She ran unsteadily, her expression still shocked. As she did, the gold butterflies danced around her all at once. They grouped together. They tried to swallow her up.
Shannon! Damn it, what is this? Are these the gold butterflies you guys were talking about?
No. Outside, quickly! You bastards! Damn it! Damn it! George and Goda rushed up to Shannon, driving off the cloud of butterflies. And while the butterflies were scattered, they ran towards the broken window. However, they needed a good footing to get out the window, which was surrounded by shards of broken glass, just like hoist Shannon and throw her through. When they'd entered, there had been enough time to prepare for that, but now there was none.
Let's go out through the door! There's no time to look for a footing.
It won't open. It's stuck.
Give it to me. Damn this piece of crap.
George-sama, quickly! Damn it! Don't take me lightly! Oh!
He's charging the dang door.
Goda took off his jacket, swinging it around and scattering the group of butterflies.
Oh, never mind.
But saying he was outnumbered would be a real understatement. It was doubtful that it even bought them a short amount of time. George struggled with the broken handle. Its age showed, and it didn't turn well. I can't leave it to strength. It needs the right angle, or there's some trick to it. George-sama! Damn it! You monsters! At that moment, Goda saw it. He was seen by it. In other words, their eyes met. On top of the party table. No. With the stained glass behind it, floating, laughing, was the figure of the witch. He saw the figure of the laughing witch in the center of the golden whirlwind, with the gold butterflies fluttering about at the ready. Beatrice. It should have been Goda's first meeting with her. But he knew her at a glance. Just like the other servants had said, this was certainly, the Witch of the Portrait herself.
Oh.
It's almost time for dinner, is it not? I am the host of this mansion now, so I must give you a warm reception before your wonderful dinner. And look, we even have 3 people fit to order. My, how truly convenient.
Oh!
Whoa, the song? Hold on. This is my favorite, or one of my favorites. World End Dominator. Okay. It's open!
Koro-san, quickly! Beatrice-sama.
Huh? Ugh.
Are you sure it's a good idea to just stand there? If you think this place will make a fitting cemetery for yourselves, then be my guests. I must praise your spirit for wanting to stay by your former master's sides and serve them even after death.
Get a glass of water on set.
True.
The golden whirlwind that wrapped around the witch burst.
Oh.
It was like an evil hand had literally spread its fingers and was trying to attack them. The cloud of gold butterflies attacked with a fluttering sound.
Hurry! We can't stay here!
George's voice brought Shannon and Goda back to their senses. Standing here now would make them like frogs getting stared down by a snake. They had to resist. They had to fight this incarnation of the new, brutal, and frightening order in which Rokenjima had been enveloped.
I freaking love this song.
There was no time to take out their umbrellas. Oh, boo-hoo. The three of them dashed out into the pouring rain. The three of them never realized because they didn't turn around. But the gold butterflies apparently couldn't handle the rain too well.
Ooh.
And this hampered their ability to chase after the humans. The three people ran from their golden pursuers and flew into the mansion. Dang, it's been a second since someone's oh wait.
How nice! How nice! The music also kicked in perfectly with that.
Yep.
It wouldn't be as fun any other way.
It went to the piano right when she appeared.
Just stay out in the rain. I mean, I guess they didn't notice, but... They unlocked the door and dashed into the room.
Okay.
Oh. A bit of the scent from Natsu's favorite gentle incense remained in there. However, there was no time to let that calm them now.
Where is it? You said it was in a treasure box, right?
It's just a story I heard. I never heard exactly where it was.
I think it'll probably be in her dresser or next to the bed.
Shannon's womanly sensibilities led her to conclude that.
Really? That's womanly sensibility?
But next to the bed, there was only an incense burner, a half-read novel, and glasses. However, the dresser was elegant and had many drawers, and would be understandable if she kept some of her valuables there. But it's in that box right there.
Nuh-uh. Sorry.
He began to violently open each one of the drawers. He had to hurry. He couldn't actually hear footsteps, but he had the feeling that the witch was approaching. He had the feeling that her laugh was approaching. He emptied the drawers one by one and examined their contents. Every small box for makeup looked like a treasure box. And the amount of effort it would take to inspect all of them made him feel a little dizzy.
Maybe it's this box. It's locked, and I can't open it.
At a glance, it looked slightly larger than a music box. When shaken, it rustled as though various small objects were inside. But it was locked and didn't open.
Normally, you'd hide the key somewhere nearby. Though some people would always carry it on their person. I don't know. I don't know.
There's no choice. Break it! But we can't do it with force, right? We might break the mirror inside. Could there be a tool to pry it open? Damn it!
Goda looked all over the room, trying to see if there was some tool that they could use.
Quick, the the pan.
He struggled with that one.
I'm so in it, bro. I'm so in the moment. I'm there with them right now.
And he noticed the door, which had been left open ever since they'd entered.
Bro, close that.
He approached the door to close it.
Thank
and
you.
Saw the abominable shadows of people approaching from beyond the darkness in the hall. No, It wasn't shadows of people, because they weren't human at all. George-sama! Hurry! Goda's voice trailed off. It was the shock of seeing a procession of those not of this world. He was a servant, so he knew all the servants working for the Ushiromiya family. But he didn't know about these.
Uh-oh.
However, they were definitely servants. And not servants working for Ushiromiya Kenzo or Ushiromiya Cross. These new servants, who worked for the new master of the mansion, the Golden Witch Beatrice, had goat heads and bright red boiled eyes of lava. You're a little obscured there, Beatrice. As the new master laughed loudly and trimly directed 6 of the new servants, he saw them approach, piercing the darkness as they came. Of course, she was clad in the gold butterflies that were her symbol. Goda hurriedly closed the door and locked it. However, just as he locked it, it returned to normal, just as though a spring or something had knocked it back. Not the boing sound effect. It gave the illusion that some prankster beyond the door was unlocking it every time he locked it.
No, but actually that's terrifying. Can you imagine, like, you're being chased by someone, you lock the door and it just keeps unlocking?
I could imagine it, yes.
It's terrifying.
They couldn't have reached the other side of the door yet. So who was doing it? And how? Kenzo. We got a button just for this. It was specifically to make
True.
Natsuhi more paranoid than she already was.
The funny button.
Yeah.
It's the only button he has.
Yeah. It just unlocks her door.
Yep.
It almost felt like playing with a broken toy. Click. Mine. Click. Ah! It won't lock! Even if I lock it, it unlocks! What's going on? Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it!
Did you think a lock would stop me? Did you think the door to that room could hold back that room's new master?
It was like the witch could see Goda's frantic effort through the door. Even now, the footsteps continued to approach. And when not just their footsteps, but even their breath could be heard, Goda gave up on the lock and slammed into the door, locking it using his own large body. George-sama! Quickly, quickly, quickly!
George-sama, what about this? A letter opener? That's better. Let me have it. The fountain pen isn't working.
George took it and once again dug into the crack under the lid of the treasure box. It looks like it's working. Quickly, quickly!
True.
Ah! The pressure from across the door grew even stronger. Goda screamed. This wasn't a war cry during a test of strength. He was terrified. He was simply terrified that nothing but a single wooden door was stopping him from touching something not of this world. But he was still lucky. He wasn't touching the things directly, because they were on the other side of the door. So if he were to touch them directly, Goda's cry would surely turn from something brave into a pathetic, piercing scream, and therefore one that was more real. Damn! I was about to make a joke. I was like, this is the part where they phase through the door. Goda couldn't believe what was happening right before his eyes. Coming through the door. An arm was slipping straight through the wood like it was water. That ain't fair, man. Poor Goda.
It's what's that thing? The funny thing where if you just put your hand through a wall at just the right time, the atoms will split and you
Yeah.
can go through it.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
It's perfectly explainable with science, Beatrice.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't magic at all. The atoms just happened to align in the perfect way.
Mm-hmm.
As though doing this was the most natural thing in the world. And it rubbed the back of Goda's hand as he frantically tried to hold the door shut. Poor
That's worse
Goda.
than like stabbing him.
Yeah. It makes me think of Kazuma's sensual hand.
Yeah, true.
But this time it's a cute girl who's also a stake from hell.
Yeah, exactly. The butt part is really big there.
It slid up his arm to his chest. Is she gonna kill him? And then... Oh!
She's gonna kill him.
Kiss. Up to his chin. By now, Goda's scream wasn't even audible anymore. Me too, Goda.
Mm-hmm.
He could hear a sweet whispering voice from across the door.
Oh, get ready.
It wasn't coming from the witch, but it sounded like a young woman. Ha! He's calling Beatrice old. However, that didn't change the fact that there's supposed to be an it there. It came from someone not of this world. Which one of
That's
us
a
is
new
this?
That
Oh!
would be me.
You got 3?
No, I only have 2.
You only have 2. I thought
I
there were
have-
3. No, there were 2. There were 2 in the last scene with them.
Yeah, I have Asmodeus, and
I'm
you
Lust.
have... No, I'm Lust.
You're
You're
Lust?
Wrath.
I'm Wrath. That's right. Okay.
And I don't know who this is yet, so I don't know what voice to give them yet. It's
Those
one of the
are-
sins. Which
They're all one of the sins. Isn't
I know.
Beelzebub? Beelzebub is either envy or greed, I think. Or
it's gluttony.
it's gluttony. I was thinking of G because I was thinking of greed because of G. So gluttony,
Okay.
G.
That still doesn't help me much with a voice, but oh well. I'm writing it in the master doc so I know who's who. Alright.
Drills, by the way.
Yeah,
all you
drill
drill
time.
for all you drill fans out there. We eating good today?
Yeah.
So cute. Hey, you see it, right? Your life flashing before your eyes? Let me know when it's over, okay?
That probably peaked horribly.
I didn't hear anything.
well, we know from my Jessica scream that even
Yours
if it
works.
peaks, it still gets heard in the stream.
Yeah.
So they heard it.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. It's over already, isn't it?
I peed. That always kills me.
I
It
love
se-
it.
It seems like such a shit post to me.
Yeah.
That lewd arm burst. Then
So
they heard
sweet.
the sound of something jumping around the room at an incredible speed. They didn't know what it was. Incredibly fast, small, like steel or maybe a beetle. Interesting. When it buried itself right in the center of Goda's chest and stopped. Poor Goda. He was doing so good this episode.
Magical Goda chef.
They realized for the first time that its true form was something like a stake with a strange design on it. Goda's large body shook, bent backwards, and fell over. As it did, the door opened softly, even though no one was pushing it, welcoming in the new master of this room. It looked almost as though the door itself had accepted her.
Wait, no, that means this scene's gonna be just me.
Ha!
No!
Unless there's a new stake. The goat attendants came in, one after another. 6 of them. Get 'em, George!
True.
Then that witch came in. And the gold butterflies came in. Man, they're really screwed, huh?
Yeah.
The room was wrapped in a... She really didn't have to do more than, like, just the gold butterflies. Like, this is really overkill.
True. This is why I want there to be a good anime adaptation, because this whole sequence from the chapel on would go so hard.
The room was wrapped in a blizzard of gold leaf which fell and piled up, turning it more and more into a world of gold.
Boom! Shannon, the roulette has chosen you and George. Thank me for your day of release. Do you have any regrets? You don't, do you? Receiving an engagement ring from the man you fell for, and then being killed before spending your first night together? That hardly counts as a regret at all, right? You wanted him to hold you, didn't you? You wanted him to teach you a woman's joy, right? God, what an ugly laugh. Yeah. Ah, no, Shannon, you're dribbling, see? Your regret is dribbling down from your mouth.
What?
I can see it dribbling down from your mouth, Shannon.
What? Is she drooling? What?
No, she's just being weird.
Oh.
Yeah.
Crack. It was the sound of the lid to the treasure box breaking open. When George turned it over, accessories, charms, various small objects that Natsuki had treasured when she was a girl fell out. Mixed in with that was a pouch that stood out from the rest. He picked it up and was immediately sure this was it.
I found it. This is it. So close, and yet so far. Die! Damn it!
All at once, the gold butterflies attacked George, who was hurriedly trying to remove the contents of the pouch. Huh?
We're in a mecha.
Huh? Yeah, I've been putting a interface.
My visor is on.
At that
What
time,
is this song?
a bright red flash seemed to light up the room for an instant. That red flash seemed to cut a hole in the cloud of gold butterflies raging around the room, drawing a circle with Shannon at the center.
Scorpion Entrails is this song.
So the resulting scene looked truly divine. Almost as though a single streak of light had cut through the clouds in this world of gold. George, who was curled in a ball, trying to protect himself from the group of butterflies, didn't have a clue what was going on. Whoa!
Whoa!
Then he noticed that Shannon was standing guard in front of him, shielding him. As she glared at the witch and the rest with a serious face she'd never shown him before.
I'd forgotten. You another sample of Kinzo's outstanding furniture. And you've matured much more than Kanon. How could you do that to Kanon-kun? I don't mean killing him. How could you erase his remains? And even try to disgrace his honor? Come now, Shannon. Is that why you're mad? If you're lonely because Kanon hasn't been around, just let me know and I'll let you see him whenever you like.
Damn.
Oh.
When the witch snapped her fingers, one of the 6 goat attendants glittered gold and changed into Kanon. But a cooler Kanon with red eyes.
Yeah.
It was definitely a sight to make one doubt their eyes. Ew,
Unless
what if his
angst.
pupils were square, like a goat?
Oh, that would be disgusting.
I guess they're rectangular for goats, not square, but still.
They got like a strange olive shape. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah. It was definitely Kanon's face. What was that noise?
That was that plodding noise from before when he was messing with his wound.
Yeah. However, in those eyes, the glint of Kanon's integrity was nowhere to be seen. They were the hazy eyes of furniture that only obeyed the orders of the witch.
I'm taking a
George?
sip while I can.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because you're also Kanon.
I'm in danger.
George couldn't understand the scene right before his eyes. And he finally understood why Goda and the rest had been unable to talk about what they'd seen in the servant room.
Are you enjoying this?
That's really funny to see. the barrier work
Yeah.
is crazy to me.
Yes, I am. It's always fun to reunite a pair that have been torn apart by death. After all, I get to enjoy tearing them apart by death, reuniting them, and then tearing them apart again.
I'm not as much of a monster as you make me out to be.
Precisely.
So, Kanon, go and play with your sister. If she knocks you about, let her see you suffer with all the anguish you can manage.
Wow.
Whiple. Not wed. From the imposter Kanon's arm, a strangely shining curve extended. He planned to tear Shannon apart with that. With a single stroke. I like how that's the Germa bit that both of us like, is the Freddy Fazbear bit.
Yep. It's really good.
With a single stroke, he would attack Shannon, who still hadn't prepared her heart, and...
I won't forgive you. I'll never forgive you for dishonoring the dead not just once, but twice. Enough babbling. Go get killed by your brother, Shannon. I'm sure. Oh, I skipped an I'm. I'm sure you'll bear witness to a wonderful dream.
Doink. Oh.
The imposter Kanon certainly seemed to lunge at Shannon, drawing several purple curves. But when he flew at her, it was as though some kind of invisible wall had been placed in front of her. The wall repelled the imposter, leaving a bright red ripple on its surface. No, it didn't repel him. It smashed him. It knocked him back, turning him into golden dust, into little bits, scattering him. Was that blood? Did he
Maybe.
bleed all over the front
I
of
don't
the...
know.
It was
Yeah.
a red, like, paste
Yeah.
on the thing. That foolish furniture, who had taken Kanon's form and even disgraced his honor after death, broke into countless gold butterflies. And then those butterflies themselves broke into pieces, and those pieces were broken into pieces. Until they were no longer butterflies, but a golden splash that faded away.
Shannon. George-san, please don't move from that spot. I don't want to shift the central axis.
Okay. Damn!
True.
Well, this is certainly a surprise. So, though your face makes it look as though you wouldn't hurt a fly, you can display such power? I see. So that spirit mirror is lending you strength. But you don't have the tools or the time to draw out its true power.
White?
I won't let you have either of those.
The spirit mirror George gripped had let out a divine glow, displaying a strength powerful enough not to submit to wicked forces. But that glow was no match for the witch's sinister nature.
This is why furniture can be frightening. That feeling
like unexpectedly stubbing your little toe on the corner of a cabinet. Yes, this is why furniture can be frightening. That's just real furniture. Your furniture, furniture, furniture! I am not furniture. And right now, you seem very pitiful to me. What? Huh. What did this furniture, who hasn't lived even 100 years, just say to a 1,000-year-old witch? You're a very pitiful person.
Oof.
Of course, two people in love will have regrets when they're separated. But they'll feel none of the kind of regret you're hoping for. You dare to speak furniture? Have you forgotten the days when you were so desperate to be tied to George that you licked my shoes?
It was more like you were having tea parties together, but...
Tomato, tomato. Living with love and crawling through the muck is what humans do.
I heard
She's
you
getting
started,
loud.
Beatrice.
I know. We switch it up. She's getting mad. If you sneer and look down on them for that, then you're far inferior to them. Especially now, I pity you. How precious is it for a loving couple when they bring their love to fruition by sleeping together on their first night? It does have meaning. It definitely does.
She's thinking about it.
Yeah.
She...
But it's completely different from what you're saying. It means something so sacred that one such as you has no right to speak of it wickedly. Dang. So I no longer have any regrets. George-san and I have sworn our love to each other. As proof, I accepted his ring. With that, our eternal vows were completed. No matter how you torture us with your wicked magic and your malice, you cannot disgrace eternity. Huh. Don't speak in cheap ideals like some poet. Love is lust, totally meaningless unless you're sleeping together.
Damn.
Men are mere flies and maggots that get drawn to your female scent and crowd around you.
Okay, Diogenes.
Do you still not understand that at your age? You'll despair the very first time you witness the dark lust of that glasses man behind you.
Glasses man goes hard.
It's
Actually, it doesn't
hilarious.
go hard. It goes soft, but that's why it's funny.
You'll be crushed, shocked, dumbfounded, stupefied, and it's all useless. Shannon!
I feel like there's some kind of self-loathing that's going on here.
Yeah, that's enough talk out of you. You furniture, furniture, furniture! Who the hell do you think you are, talking like that, no matter how beautiful you try to make love sound? In the end, it's a fraud, because love is filthy filth.
Yeah, there's definitely some trauma going on here.
You think so? Don't people become adults when they realize that? Die, you trash! Furniture, furniture, scrap! I'll turn you into a filthy maggot, then we'll see whether that glasses guy still loves you.
Babe. Would you still love me if I was a worm?
Maggot. Also, this song is Moon. Again, this is Tsuki. Once again, the same that played during the Canon Jessica moment. But anyway. I'll show you that this guy's only had his eyes on your flesh. Die, you piece of crap! Don't you tell me about love! She's whooshing a lot.
The invisible column of light with Shannon at the center started to have bright red ripples drawn all over it at once. The wall did its best to withstand the unseeable malice that tried to erode in on them from all directions.
What? Do you actually think you're resisting? You're insignificant. You're frail, just like your cheap ideals. Just a frail pretense. You're just hiding what you don't want to see by covering it with a veil. Do you still not understand why your furniture, you furniture? See, it's being erased. Crack, crunch, smack, snap, how thin, how shameful. Parmigiano Reggiano would be harder to cut through than your frail resistance.
I'm assuming that's cheese.
I'm also assuming it's cheese.
Yeah.
I think it's just Parmesan cheese. I think
Maybe.
it's just the Italian name for it, I think. The golden windstorm that covered the room gradually began to shave the walls off the column that protected Shannon and George.
It is, in fact, just Parmesan cheese.
Okay. The bright red ripples frantically drew a resisting pattern, but that just turned into a red wall of despair that began to wrap the two of them up.
Oh, that's the legally protected name. It's copywritten.
Oh.
Anyway.
George-san, I'm sorry. It was too much for me. After all.
Yeah. Thank you. You fought for my sake. That alone makes me happy.
Epilepsy warning.
Yeah.
Goodness. The round wall had once protected them was assaulted and covered with a curve of bright red ripples as it seemed to scream, and it began to suck the two of them up instead.
Oh.
George-san, can I ask a favor?
Shannon grasped George's hand behind her, so George hugged her shoulders just as strongly.
What is it?
In the end, please let me hear you say, I love you.
Yeah. Sayo, I will forever.
Oh my god, epilepsy warning!
Red glass, holy moly.
Shannon made her real mad. Shannon really struck a nerve. Yeah, she's got something going on there. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Kenzo or was it someone before Kenzo that made her feel that way?
Oh, kana.
I assume we'll find out eventually. Holy moly!
Yes. What?
I need to pee. I will be
go
back.
pee, girl?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll hang out with the audience here once we get to stop.
Knowing how to pee.
Well, yeah. Does anyone not know how to pee? Can you do that? I don't know. We won't talk about that. So, audience, while we're waiting for him to get back, how are you all feeling about all this? Oh, this is your first time watching Umineko. Man, I hope you're enjoying the show. If it's not, man, I hope you're enjoying the show. I'm trying to get this guy. See, of course, we've mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. I've been through all of Umineko. I already know what's what. I know what's going on. Levi does not know what's going on. This is as far as he's ever gotten. So I'm trying to get him to like think about and see this stuff, but it's so hard to get him to think about certain ways without giving stuff away. It's such a struggle, but he's getting there. He's getting some of the sauce by himself. Thankfully. We're getting close here. That's not even a spoiler. The last epitaph has been fulfilled. Or not the very last, but like the last sacrifices have been fulfilled. So we're getting towards the end of episode 2. which means soon we'll be going on to episode 3. Of course, there's the stuff that happens in between. But we'll see how much more we get to do today. I'm personally hoping we can finish this today, because that means we can move on quicker next week, because I'm just having a great time. I just want to keep going. But we'll see how much time permits. I am very hungry. I haven't eaten today, so I probably will have to quit before too much longer. But what is this? This is episode 18, I think is the thumbnail. Yeah. And episode 1 took us 10, so we're pretty on par. We're pretty on pace, actually, for getting through
I am back.
this episode as well. Oh, he's back. Maybe.
I am back.
Okay. Welcome back. I was just talking with the audience about how much is going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Good luck solving that one.
After Genji finished his late meal, he went out to do the nighttime rounds inside the mansion. He'd eaten some reheated soup that Goda had made, along with some random leftovers from the refrigerator. Those were all things Goda had made himself, and were, of course, delicious. He had half-heartedly gone to ask Rosa and the others what they could do for dinner. What they would do for dinner. But he'd been yelled at by a voice telling him that the canned food they had would be enough, and the door wasn't even open for him. So, ironically, the servant Genji was able to eat a more delicious meal. But why was it that Genji wasn't afraid to do the rounds all by himself? Even though all those crimes had been committed, and many people had already met a brutal end. Judging by his appearance as he carried out his usual tasks without a trace of fear, as though everything was normal, you might think all of the horrible events that day had been no more than a dream or an illusion. Was he taking a philosophic view, or had he just accepted his fate? Genji must have considered it a virtue that when the fate that awaited him was unavoidable, he'd carry out his duty systematically until the last moment.
Genji Chad.
The depths of his heart would probably remain hidden for all eternity, unless he spoke of them himself. He had returned his master key to Rosa, so the places he could reach were extremely limited. All he could do was walk around the hallways, checking to make sure the windows were closed. That probably made his rounds go a lot faster than usual. At the sound of a reserved knock, and Rosa, who had been falling into a doze, jumped and woke up, pointing the barrel of the gun at the door as she yelled.
Who is it?
I was napping on a sofa, and that voice also brought me back to reality. Oh, that's me, sorry. Rosa-sama. It is I, Genji.
Do you have some business? Don't worry about opening the door. Tell us from there.
Yes, ma'am. In that case, forgive me for speaking in this fashion. I have found Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa's corpses. What did you say?
I see. Very well, let's go and check them. Until I see the corpses, I won't believe anyone.
It's okay, Battler. If you stay with me, it'll definitely be okay.
Maybe my face seemed to be darkened with anxiety. Maria grasped my hand with her small hand and spoke softly, trying to give me courage. Since it was Aunt Rosa's job to ready the gun and stand guard, it fell to me to remove the barricade of sofas. When I finished, I took a backwards glance at Aunt Rosa, who was pointing the barrel of the gun over my shoulder, and opened the door. Genji-san, where are their corpses? in the courtyard. I shall guide you.
Bad Lacoon, wait. Just in case, let's check the doors and windows of this room. Wait a second.
And Rosa called me to a halt to prevent me from going on ahead and began to carefully check the locks on each of the windows. But those locks had already been checked once. It felt kind of unpleasant, as though she suspected that I might have secretly unlocked them when she wasn't looking. No. Maybe Aunt Rosa was right to be this cautious. And though it was called a courtyard, it wasn't really a pretty place you could take a walk in like the Rose Garden. On the contrary, since it was surrounded by the mansion on all sides, it made you feel a little uncomfortable, as though it was telling you that there would be no escape from this mansion no matter where you tried to run. On the other hand, that meant that even though we could still hear the violent winds, the wind itself was blocked. Genji-san held out an umbrella, but Aunt Rosa ignored him. She was probably hinting that the gun took two hands, and it would be dangerous if she took the umbrella. We didn't need Genji-san pointing for us to notice. Right in the center of the courtyard, we could see where Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san lay. Aunt Rosa entered the courtyard without even opening an umbrella. So Genji and I also entered the courtyard without opening one. Only Maria opened hers. Maria, is this... you know what?
No. It's the 7th and 8th Twilights.
Oh. They got updated.
They did. Bonk. Knee. Got kneed. At that time, it had a weapon shaped like a stake rammed into its knee, later found in the courtyard, but this, the 7th Twilight, is finished. And weapon shaped like a stake rammed into the ankle. 8th Twilight is finished, which means that George and Shannon were the 5th and 6th. Supposedly?
Yeah.
Although their deaths are not confirmed.
Not yet. Herma. I see. Certainly, just as Genji-san and the others said, there are horrible wounds on their necks. The cuts are quite sharp. Almost as though they were sliced with a katana or something.
Those gaping wounds on their necks definitely made me want to avert my eyes. But after seeing that Halloween party in the chapel, even though they looked horrible, they were no longer enough to make me feel sick. More importantly, our gazes fell to their legs, to Dr. Nanjo's knee, to Kumasawa-san's ankle. Driven into each of them was something like a knife or stake with a demonic design. They must have been the same as that thing that had pierced Jessica's back.
What is this? It's just like what happened to Jessica-chan. Is this supposed to be some kind of occult ceremony, I wonder?
After everything we've been through, I don't think so. I do not know. The last time I saw their bodies, there was nothing like these. Maybe it was done after they were carried out of the servant room. The one stuck into Dr. Nanjo's knee was still standing erect. Dang. Wonder which girl that is. But the one that had been thrust into Kumasawa-san's ankle might have been a little shallower.
That's a good question.
It had come out and fallen over. So by looking at the one that had fallen over for the first time, I realized that it wasn't a knife. It's something like a stake. Really? No. Its full length was probably about 30 centimeters. I cannot translate that to freedom units.
I'm on it.
I know 180 centimeters is roughly 6 feet because that's about how tall I am.
30 is 11.811 inches. So almost
It's almost a foot, yeah. It was probably made out of bronze or iron or something of the sort. Even without touching it, I could tell it had some weight to it. It was composed of a grip and a cone-shaped part, and it was obviously made to be a piercing weapon.
This would be a huge memorabilia, like merch.
True.
Umineko merch. Get the stakes.
Maybe it was like a miniature version of those lances Western knights used on horseback. The spiral-shaped ditches in it made it also look like a small drill. Because Beelzebub had drills. However, the grip had an occult design modeled off a demon or something. So instead of a weapon used in war, it felt like something that would be used in a ceremony to offer up living sacrifices. You know, modern demons would take the form of anime girls.
Would. Do.
You've met them?
No, that was me saying I would, and then I do.
I see. There's no mistake. They're meant to get steak. They're meant to be.
You done?
Sacrifices.
On the 7th twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the 8th twilight, gouge the leg and kill.
Wait a sec. That means they've left out the 4th, 5th, and 6th twilights. Oh, wait, did we?
Goda.
Oh, Goda, yep. Poor, even I forgot about Bagoda. Poor Goda. Could it be? Of course. Why is Genji-san alone? Obviously, he killed everyone and is blaming it on... That's what Rosa's gonna say.
True. It's just true.
If something like this has happened, why aren't George, Aniki, Goda-san, and Shannon-chan here?
Unless they did it.
Why was Genji-san alone? Unless it's actually Kenzo, because he's been absent the whole time.
True. What's going on? Where did George-kun and the other two go?
They said they wanted to search for something in Madame Natsuhi's room, and they left. They have not returned yet. What did you say? You say they left, but when was that? 2 or 3 hours ago, I believe. No way! Why didn't you tell us something that... Wait. No, why didn't you think that was suspicious? There must be at least one servant on standby at all times. It was my duty to wait for orders until they returned. Was Genji-san really this much of a robot?
Don't diss Genji.
This is bad, it's really bad. Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san were killed like this, which means that 3 people have already been killed. We ran towards Aunt Natsuhi's room, with a touch of anxiety and just as much resignation. Before we even saw the inside of Aunt Natsuhi's room, we were forced to resign ourselves to a certain fact. On that door was a bizarre scribble. No. Filth? The question is it one we've seen before, or is it a new one? Oh, okay, I guess we just don't get to see it. Anyway.
I think it's just like it's kind of like the scratchings on Natsuhi's door in the first
okay.
episode. It's just
Okay.
like red scratchies.
The scratches on Natsuhi's door are like the scratches on Natsuhi's door.
Exactly.
Anyway, the room wasn't in an ordinary state, and even without even opening the door, we could imagine what we'd find inside. What if they were just like fine? How would you explain that? How would you explain like the weird blood on the door?
Ketchup.
On the face of the door, how should I say it? Handprints, done heavily with the same red paint as the magic circles from before. Yeah, sure, red paint. Had banged on the door, scratched at it, dirtied it. It looked like the aftermath of a kindergartner playing in the mud. I didn't know what it could mean. The bright red paint that had been slathered on was dripping down, and even though no one said it, it made us think of blood. Well, wow, that's crazy.
Genji-san, please open it!
Aunt Rosa held her gun up high and ordered Genji-san to open the door. Genji-san approached it without seeming particularly troubled by that stuff on it and turned the knob, but immediately turned around, shaking his head. Yay, closed room! It was locked. At that moment, there was only one person in this mansion who could lock and unlock doors at will, Aunt Rosa. This time, Genji-san asked Aunt Rosa to unlock the door instead of the other way around. After frowning silently for a second, Aunt Rosa handed me a master key and told me to open the door.
Battler-kun, would you open it for me with this?
Just trusting Genji-san with something like that wouldn't... Aunt Rosa glared at me intensely. Getting into a fight here would only make the mood turn even more sour. What are you gonna do, shoot me?
Yes.
Without talking back anymore, I approached that creepy door and tried the knob. It didn't open. It was definitely the resistance of the lock. No funny boing? I stuck the master key into the keyhole. Lunk. There was a slight resistance. And Rosa told me to be on my guard, and I opened the door without really guarding myself in any way. 6 big guys. And then, there was a scene laid out before us that didn't betray my expectations at all.
Horrible.
Oh,
Boy.
there it is. Yep.
Yeah, there they all are.
Died in Nazi's room, stomach pierced by a weapon shaped like a steak. 6 Twilight gouged the stomach and kill. It's possible that they would have ended up as the second Twilight. Shannon. Died in Nazi's room, forehead pierced by a weapon shaped like a steak. 4th Twilight gouged the head and kill. Spent her last moments with her beloved.
About Goder.
Oh yeah, Goda. Did it again. Poor guy. Died in Nazi's room with his chest pierced by a weapon shaped like a steak. 5th Twilight gouged the chest and kill. The cook was cooked. Ki-hee-hee-hee. Ki-hee-hee. Hole-hee-hee.
She is so real for that one.
She...
The cook was cooked.
Oh, Maria. As I thought, it's a reproduction of the 4th, 5th, and 6th Twilights. The inside of the room looked as though a robber had just broken in. Drawers had been flung open, pulled out, and had their contents thrown about all over the place, leaving the room so cluttered you'd never believe it belonged to the methodical Aunt Natsuhi. But the very first thing that caught our eyes was Goda-san's corpse lying face down right in front of the door. Right in the center of his chest, almost as though it had been stuck there to finish off a vampire, was one of those demon stakes from before. Exactly how far could it have reached after being stuck that deeply into his chest? Just imagining it would make anyone's chest hurt. Wasn't gouging the chest the 5th Twilight? Maria grabbed my hand. Her expression looked just like normal. But maybe she really was afraid of the aura in this room where 3 corpses lay. And along the wall farthest into the room, George Aniki lay dead. This time, one of those stakes had been rammed right into the center of his stomach. Was it gouging the stomach the 6th Twilight? Oh dang, we get a whole CG for Shannon. Let's take a look-see.
Wow. Head down. What was hers again?
Gouge the head and kill?
I think so.
Yep. Wasn't gouging the stomach the sixth twilight? Shannon-chan's corpse was face down in front of the dresser, lying in a sea of blood. Had she seen her own face at the end, in that horribly broken mirror stained with blood? Because she was lying that way. I couldn't see her face, but I could guess even without seeing it. Nearby, in the sea of blood she lay in, a demon's stake had fallen. Only the fourth twilight was left. Gouge the head and kill. Maybe my heart was totally worn out and dead. Even though I knew it was wrong, I lifted her head and checked. And I confirmed that my guess had been right on the mark.
Ugh.
There was a gaping hole in Shannon-chan's head, and the insides were dripping out. Not only that, but you could even see inside her. After seeing that, I finally realized I was doing something wrong. I immediately averted my eyes, but by now, it was probably pointless. But isn't that everyone, though? That's all the Twilights, right?
Yippee!
You're all gonna live!
Hey! Battler-kun! You mustn't touch anything until the police come. What do you think you're doing, touching it? What will you do if our precious evidence on the scene gets disturbed?
And Rosa got violently mad at me and even tugged at the back of my collar. I tottered limply and fell on my butt, gazing dimly up at the ceiling. Maria.
Huh?
With this, even the 8th twilight is over. What was the 9th twilight again?
On the 9th twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive.
I see. After this, the Golden Witch Beatrice will be revived. What then? On the final 10th twilight.
On the 10th twilight, at Journey's End, you shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures once and for the last time. Very soon, the door to the Golden Land will be opened. Very soon.
The witch shall be revived, and none shall be left alive. Huh? We're gonna die now? Or does this mean the ceremony of sacrifices is over, and that now, at Journey's End, we'll reach the Golden Land? What is our journey? We spent the whole day trying to find the culprit, spinning our heads as we tried to break out of this situation, and we haven't gotten anywhere. It's like they say, thinking stupid is no better than sleeping. That's right. We've spent the whole day burning ourselves up with hatred and paranoia. We were so sure we could only trust the dead that we came all the way here just to confirm these 3 deaths with our own eyes. If we're like this, why should we be able to make it to the Golden Land? That's right. If we couldn't resolve any of our problems anyway, it would have been so much better if we'd locked ourselves up the whole time. Without thinking at all. Grandfather's the wisest of us. He's been shut up in his room since yesterday without any contact with anyone. It'd be really funny if he died of old age.
True.
That was the right decision. Grandfather was the most correct of us all.
It's okay, Battler. If you're with me, you'll be okay. The witch is very fickle, and she's a terrifying being who might kill humans partly for fun sometimes. However, if you're with me, you'll be okay. So don't be afraid.
Thank you. Even if you're just saying it to console me, I'm glad.
He's glad.
After Aunt Rosa finished investigating their corpses, she announced that she'd seal this room again. Chased the rest of us out, stole back the master key she'd lent me, and locked the door again. Apparently, George Aniki had been holding the key to Aunt Natsuhi's room. She also collected that. Wait a sec. She's got all the master keys on her person. If Natsuhi's own key was locked up inside this room, doesn't that make it another closed room?
Oh my gosh.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
Well, that's too dang.
So what? Is this the fourth closed room? Shouldn't have yapped your mouth in episode 1, Battler.
It's true. It's
Shouldn't
true.
have been like, man, it's a closed room.
Show me something only a witch could do.
Boom. Fourth closed room. Now that the suspicion surrounding those three had been cleared, we returned to the parlor once more. I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. If only the dead are innocent, and everyone alive is a wolf. That leaves only me, and Rosa, Maria, and Genji-san. And Kenzo.
Yeah.
And besides us, okay, there's only Grandfather and that 19th person, the guest we've seen no trace of, Beatrice. 13 people have died. 6 are left. How would a wolves and sheep puzzle with only 6 people end? Even though a puzzle that started with 19 people has been reduced to 6, I can't think of an answer.
Mm-hmm.
We returned to the parlor. I was a bit worried that, while we were gone, a creepy magic circle or something might have been drawn on the parlor door. But thankfully, we didn't find anything like that.
Thank you, Genji-san. This is far enough. Please rest for the day.
Certainly. Then, please excuse me. Hey, Aunt Rosa. Are you saying you'll leave Genji-san all alone in a situation like this?
That's right. I do think it's quite dangerous. But in that case, why is he safe? After those 3 headed to Natsune-san's room, he was alone the whole time. And yet he's safe. It's a wolves and sheep puzzle. Why would a sheep be safe if it was all alone and therefore in its weakest possible position?
Probably because, by coincidence, there weren't any wolves around.
Wrong. It's because it wasn't a sheep.
Are you saying Genji-san's a wolf?
He said he was alone in the kitchen, but that's impossible to prove. The only ones who could have carried Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san's corpses, who could have killed George and the rest, were him and Beatrice, right?
Wait, with that argument, anyone... Battler-sama, thank you for your concern. I believe trust is won not with 100 excuses, but with simple faithfulness. Even if I am not able to gain your trust, I wish to be faithful until the end. Genji-san.
Then we're decided. If you truly are innocent, the police will prove that for us when they come tomorrow. So, until then, we cannot remove you from suspicion. After your long years of service, I find it truly painful to treat you so poorly.
I don't think so.
But please understand about tonight. And when tomorrow comes, please let us make up again.
Genji-san gave his head a small shake. Today and tomorrow, I will continue to be a servant of the Ushiromiya family. If you need anything, please say so at any time. Then, if you will excuse me. After hearing all that, there was nothing left to say. Genji-san bowed deeply and left down the hall. Then, we entered the room. Even though Aunt Rosa still held all the master keys herself, she thoroughly checked the inside of the parlor again. She opened the curtains and checked again to make sure the windows were locked. As I watched, how should I say it? I felt like it didn't really matter anymore. If I said anything careless, it would turn into another fight. For a while, I gazed at her from the corridor, figured I'd waited just about long enough, and entered the parlor behind her. If she doesn't trust anyone but the dead, why doesn't she just go around killing everyone with the gun she's got in her hand? And then, in the end, she'll realize that she herself is the wolf. Then she can just blast through the head of the final wolf and close the curtain on this insane murder drama.
Dang.
As I thought that bitterly, I returned to the sofa where I'd been in camp before, rudely resting both of my feet on the table. When I tried to do that, I found something there and stopped moving my feet. A clue! What is this? A clue! Right there, almost as though it had been addressed to me, was a Western envelope. It was that envelope from before with the seal of the one-winged eagle, and it was unopened. What?
Oh.
Wait. What is this? Who put it in a place like this, and when? It was a closed room! It was a closed room! No one could have come in! Even when I went with everyone to check the corpses, I was sitting here the whole time. Until I went with everyone to check the corpses, I was sitting here the whole time. And there wasn't anything there until then. And when I returned, it was here.
It's okay. Everything's still locked up securely. This room is safe. What is that?
I heard Rosa muttering that. Wait. We made sure this room was safe when we left it. We checked that the windows were all perfectly locked. Then we locked it up, came back, and the windows were still locked. Then, wait, who put this letter here and how? They shoved it under the door really hard and it caught wind and flew over to the coffee table and landed on it.
Actually, I left it there. Sorry.
I opened the letter. 2 pieces of stationery came out. The Triforce from The Legend of Zelda.
Yep.
The first page had a magic circle drawn on it with something like blood. If I asked Maria, she'd probably know what it meant. And there was writing on the other page. Have you made progress in solving the epitaph? In just a short while, your time will be up in a flash. The 9th twilight will begin quite soon. There was no mistake. It was a letter from Beatrice.
Huh? Battler? What is that?
When we came here just now, it was sitting right here.
What happened, Maria? Huh? Peddler-kun, that letter!
Wait. It was sitting right here. Why? Even though we checked to make sure this room was locked. Why? Why?
Maria, come here.
And Rosa closed her eyes just a little, and after thinking silently for a moment, told Maria to come. Maria obeyed her mother's words. As she did, something unbelievable happened. And Rosa pointed the barrel of that gun at me.
Battler-kun, I've concluded that you are a wolf.
Oh, shut the fuck no. What? Why?
What is this? Night Eyes is the name of this song. This is a wild one. When I came into the room just now, I saw that there was nothing at all on the table. And I know that Maria did not approach that table. We're talking about a short stretch of time. But the only one who claims to have approached the table and found the letter is you.
How can you? Wait, that's all screwed up. Why would I put something like this here? Wait, I just found something suspicious and reported it, right? Self-report, oh my gosh. Why are you suspecting me?
Whoa, that was crazy. Like, I don't know what happened, but there was a disruption in our connection, and it did that thing where it all stopped for me, and then sped up really quickly. So all of a sudden, I just heard you go, self-report. But anyway. Because only you could have set that letter there. That's right. This is all a charade. She would say charade.
She would.
You pulled an envelope from your pocket and then acted as though you just found it. To create the illusion that the witch entered a closed room, set down a letter, and left.
He needs to pull the Christopher Walken right now. Shoot me then. I don't care.
Yeah.
Dumbass. Are you thinking like that again? Are you going to suspect me because of something like that? Cut it out! My dad and everyone else were killed. Why would I take part in the culprit's scheme?
True. Even if you were offered a large sum of money, I don't want to believe in the existence of the sort of demon who could sell out their own parents. Then again, maybe such a demon does exist. No, that's a bad way to say it. What if you didn't view Rudolph Nissan and Kyrie-san as your parents?
What? Think about what you're saying. Dad is dad, right? Of course I'm not related to Kyrie-san by blood, but she's like a big sister to me. No way in hell I'll let a comment like that slide, you bastard. Stop it!
Stop saying ooh! I'm sorry, that was a bad way to put it. True, Ushiromiya Battler-kun may be Rudolph Nissan's child.
Oh my god, just keep digging, Rosa.
But are you really that Battler-kun?
What the hell are you talking about? If I'm not Battler, who else do I look like?
All of us, including Rudolph Nissan, are seeing you for the first time in 6 years. No one can prove that you really are Ushiromiya Battler, right? Maybe you aren't Battler, but someone who snuck in, making a skillful bid to steal the wealth of the Ushiromiya family. Can you clearly prove that you're Ushiromiya Battler? Right here, right now?
Cut it out, damn it! I'm me! Ushiromiya Battler! If we're gonna suspect even things like that, are you really Ushiromiya Rosa? I'm myself, no one else. Yeah, that's right. It's just as you say, you can't trust anyone but corpses and yourself. If you're gonna go that far, let me make an objection. George Aniki and the others were found dead, and Aunt Natsuhi's room was locked. George Aniki had the key to that room, right? And by now, the only one with a master key is you, Aunt Rosa, right? Aren't you the only one who could have unlocked that room? My theory goes like this. You're in contact with the real culprit, and while I wasn't looking, you lent them one of the 5 master keys.
I didn't do something like that. See, there are 5 of them here, right?
As if that matters. You could have had them set in a prearranged spot and collected it, right? And weren't you the one who doubted whether there really were 5 master keys?
So, how do you suggest that someone other than yourself placed that letter there? Until you find proof someone else did it, you're a wolf!
Shut up! Then why don't you show me some proof? How do you claim the culprit killed George Aniki and the rest in that closed room? How did they lock it?
Wow. That's exactly right. Natsuhi's room was exactly the same, just like usual. The door and windows were locked from the inside. There were no frauds or tricks, no means of secret passage, nor places in which to hide. Natsuhi's own key was in George's pocket, and the inside of the room was sealed off. Only the 5 master keys were left, and Rosa was holding all of them. And let me say this, the parlor's the same. The key to the parlor itself is sealed away in the servant room. So unlocking it without a master key is impossible. The definition of a closed room remains the same as always. Come on, now there's only one suspect. Or are you still playing innocent, Ushiromiya Battle, huh?
Shut up! You shut up too!
Brunette heck, blonde-haired woman. Give me a second, I gotta readjust.
Yep.
Wow. You're the one who should shut up. How do you claim the letter was placed here by anyone other than you? Unless you can prove such a thing happened, you're a wolf.
If we can suspect me, then we can suspect you too. So try showing me some proof yourself. And anyway, weren't you the first person to enter this room and start checking the windows, Aunt Rosa? Then you guessed that I'd go back to where I'd been sitting and secretly put the letter there. It's possible for us to suspect that this is a trap of yours, right?
Why would I use a trap like that? If I was a wolf, I'd shoot you with this gun without question.
That proves nothing. Maybe you chose the roundabout way of setting a clever trap because you couldn't commit murder in front of Maria. All the master keys are in your hands. So what happened, both here and in the last room, was all your doing, right? If you think you can talk your way out of this, then let's hear your excuses. That's right, you've been suspicious from the start, Aunt Rosa. Why is it that even though 6 adults in the family conference were killed, you were the only exception? Why were you the only one not in that chapel? There can only be one reason. You invited Dad and the rest there and killed them. Damn it, damn it. That explains everything, doesn't it? Don't fuck with me, don't fuck with me. Stop saying things that don't make sense!
Ah! Stop it! You mustn't fight! Mama too! Battler too! Stop it! Stop it! It's no one's fault! It's not Battler
Yeah.
Maria thrust herself in between Aunt Rosa and me as the blood started rising to our heads. I was taken aback by Maria's crying voice and returned to my senses. I had acted shamefully just now. My eyes filled with tears. That's right. It's all the witch's fault, isn't it? All this about keys and tricks and alibis. All of it was stupid. Even though it's the work of the witch, we weren't even able to trust each other as humans. Right, Aunt Rosa? From the beginning, there wasn't a human culprit. It was all the work of the witch. So there's no way you're the culprit. And there's no way Maria, Genji-san, or I am either. Why has it come to this? Why am I screaming at Aunt Rosa, who I loved? Why am I having this fight with the kind aunt I love so much? Why? Why does everyone have to suspect each other? I'm not gonna suspect my aunt. I'm not gonna suspect anyone. It's all the work of the witch. It's all the work of Beatrice. It's all a crime that Beatrice committed with magic. Beatrice, please, show yourself here and confess to us that you did everything. I'm sorry already. I'm sorry we've been suspecting each other like this. So forgive us. Release us. Release us from this hell of suspecting each other until we see each other die. Give me my kind relatives and cousins back. Cousins aren't relatives, I guess. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it all. You definitely exist. It's your victory. Show yourself. Oh, Beatrice.
I was gonna say he's Kenzo maxing.
Beatrice.
Rosa's still just pointing the gun at him right now, you think?
Probably.
While he's breaking down?
Yeah. I wouldn't put it past her.
No.
It's all just an elaborate act. Speaking of
Hey, if
Kenzo,
nothing else, she and Maria's gonna get out of this. Oh, true. Hey, how about that? It's been a while, buddy. Am I still alive?
apparently, some time ago, Kenzo had fallen into a doze. He searched for his spectacles and looked at the clock. It was 10 p.m.
That person's ceremony. Let's see. How far has it progressed? It must have come quite far by this time.
Kenzo lifted his heavy body from the chair and approached the portrait of the witch that he had gazed at every day.
Beatrice, very soon, I will have a chance to be reunited with your smile. I care not if I die. If I can just see your smile one more time, I will not regret this life. So, for heaven's sake, let me meet with you one more time. Then let me swear my love to you. Let me apologize for my crimes. Whoa! But I won't let you escape. You are mine. From your hair to your toenails to the dirt under your toenails, you are mine.
Man is crazed.
Every fragment of your flesh is mine. Even the broth of your corpse is mine.
Down horrendous.
Anybody else feel like Kenzo? No. I won't let you escape. This time you won't slip from my hands. Talk about possessive. I'll make you mine for all eternity. I will never let you escape a second time. I will never let you escape a second time.
Kenzo howled in rage then suddenly fell to his knees as he shook and scraped at the wall. In an instant, he had started sobbing.
Ah, that's wrong. I didn't want to say something like this. Beatrice!
Post-nut clarity.
True. Please, let me see you one more time. Even if you only let me apologize. Ah, Beatrice!
Oh.
I was gonna say. Wah! You are beloved, yearned for. I was mistaken. If you would just smile, I wouldn't need anything else. I made a mistake. I made a mistake back then. I did something that cannot be taken back. In atonement, I offer all that remains of my life. In order to apologize to you, in order to atone for my crimes. I offered everything. Please, even if it must happen as I die, at least let me apologize. Just once. Beatrice. Ah! Ah! Balor and Rosa hearing this in the midst of their tense breakdown.
Really funny if Kenzo and Battler said the Beatrice thing at the exact same time.
True.
As Kenzo shook and cried, a butterfly appeared out of nowhere behind his small back like a flake of gold leaf and softly descended.
I'm assuming that's me.
Probably.
You fool, Kinzo. Did you think any woman out there would fall for a man's tears? Well, even if it wouldn't make a human woman fall for you, it might do the trick for a woman who is not human. Kinzo, do you remember that game of chess you played with me, which is still ongoing?
Kenzo, as though he had suddenly remembered something, approached the chess set. It was as it had been during the game he'd played with Nanjo until yesterday. Nanjo is Beatrice confirmed?
True, Nanjo-trice.
After knocking all the pieces off the chessboard, he began to line them up one by one. It was a setup for an ongoing game.
That's right. Like this. I advanced my queen. That was quite a spectacular move. Perhaps it was a little too intense for you. I worried whether you'd abandon your piece or not. Worried for so long.
Kenzo waited, with the opposite seat empty. Surely, very soon, his opponent would appear there. And he would be able to restart this game again.
Back to me. You fool, Kinzo. You want to apologize? You want to see my face again? You want to make my smile an eternal thing? Why can't you say a much, much simpler word? Even though that is the sole element of this world?
At that time, Kenzo muttered. Was it a prayer? An entreaty? It was probably best to just call it muttering.
I love you, Beatrice.
They were pure words, like something an innocent child would say without any evil intent.
You really are a fool, Kinzo. If you ever have the chance to do your life over again, know that those words will never cause a woman to fall for you.
That's right.
That's right. I was
Okay,
gonna say, I was like,
I
who?
wasn't
Which one
sure,
of us?
I wasn't sure.
I don't know.
Not unless a miracle happens. That's what makes this. At that moment, Kinzo definitely heard a small knock, one with a tempo that differed from those of the servants.
Who is it?
The woman beyond the door didn't answer. It's Rosa.
I'm asking who you are. Will you not answer?
The woman beyond the door didn't answer.
Could it be? Oh, could it be? Beatrice. Beatrice. Beatrice!
Has heart attack.
True.
The woman beyond the door answered. On the 9th twilight the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive.
Boomba.
Why they gotta do that to us,
Huh.
Why can't they just wrap it all up in a nice bow in episode 1 and have me be satisfied?
You can't be happy. Okay. So I'm gonna pee, but like you just keep going.
Okay.
And just let like I don't the only person it'll be is Rosa, so
Yeah.
or Kinzo, I guess. But anyway, just
if the first thing on the screen is Rosa. Okay, no, we're good.
okay, I'm good. Okay. Yeah, okay, I'll be back.
Battler's figure was in the dining hall. He didn't feel like going back to the guest house in the middle of all this rain, and wandered half-heartedly around the mansion in search for any place where he could sit, before setting up camp in the dining hall. This time the dining hall is clean and doesn't have anything staining it, unlike episode 1, the first game board. He didn't even lock the door. I haven't gotten a moment to mention it while Pertuset was here, but I'm curious because in the last episode, not episode 1 of Umineko, but the last episode of the stream, we talked about how Beatrice said there was one person who was still denying her, and I was curious if it was actually Battler or not, because he had like resigned in that moment, but he might have still like, internally been denying her, or if he actually did resign and there's someone else in the family that's denying her. I don't know. I guess we're going to find out as we keep going. He didn't even lock the door. He thought the shapeless murderer, or maybe the golden witch, might come to kill him now that he was isolated. But he no longer had any desire to resist. He didn't even feel like using a locked door to hold off the culprit.
I've returned.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
He wanted that person to come at him openly from the front. If it was the killer, he wanted to ask them about some of those wonderful closed room tricks as a parting gift. If it was the witch, he hoped she'd at least take his life with some spectacular magic. However, ironically, neither of these two came to meet him. Battler opened the liquor cabinet on his own and enjoyed the liquor to his heart's content. No longer was there anyone to scold him for drinking alcohol. He boldly rested his legs on the extravagant tablecloth and savored the high-quality liquor, which probably had a mind-boggling price, drinking it down straight from the bottle.
Dang.
Then, someone knocked. Battler realized that someone had finally come to greet him. Hey, it's not locked. Whoever you are, please come in. And go ahead and introduce yourself. If you're human, please give me your name. If you're Beatrice, please tell me your bust size. I may not look it, but I'm well known as a breast sommelier, you see.
I was gonna say, is he crunk or just nihilistic? Oh.
Ha! It is Genji, Battler-sama.
What a name.
Genji-san, huh? Sorry, but I've got no interest in your bust size. You don't? Please come in. It's unlocked. Excuse me. Genji-san opened the door and bowed. So, is Genji-san the criminal after all? Or maybe an accomplice? That theory would probably explain most of the tricks. Did you come to give me my last rites? Nothing of the sort. I apologize if I am disturbing you. Hey, saying I'm sorry without even telling me what you want is actually pretty creepy. What do you want? Are you gonna tell me that drinking alcohol is forbidden for minors? I'll just die anyway. Please, let me do what I want, now that it's all about to end. Battler-sama, do you love alcohol so much that you would spend the little time you have left drinking? Those words pierced me. That wasn't true. I just can't cope if I don't drink. I can't even taste the alcohol at all. You are just like the Master. Indeed, you inherited the Master's blood, strongly. You mean grandfather, the heavy drinker, was drinking to drown his sorrows the whole time? First I've heard of it. After several sad incidents, the Master's life was reduced to one of atonement alone. What is it you know? Yo, are we gonna get Kenzo lore?
King's lore.
Beatrice's ceremony was completed when the 8th twilight ended. I believe I can tell you everything now. What did you say? My drunkenness was completely blown away. I lowered my feet from the table and listened carefully to hear what Genji would say next. Battler-sama, I shall guide you to the Master's study. It would probably be best to hear it directly from both the Master and from both grandfather and... Hey, what in the world do you mean by that? Come, this way. I shall guide you, Battler-sama. After Genji-san told me to follow him, he started to walk down the corridor. I threw my drunkenness off completely and went after him. We climbed a big staircase towards the 3rd floor. Genji-san stopped walking halfway. He then turned back and spoke.
What is this theme?
Battler-sama, from here on, you will probably see things you will not be able to understand. Don't think that'll scare me. I've already seen enough incomprehensible things today to make me sick. Please, accept what you see as you see it, and accept what you hear as you hear it. Why? What? There is no need for questions like that. You will learn the truth, and that is all. I will leave it completely up to you, Battler-sama, whether to accept it, believe it, or deny it. Genji-san checked one last time to see whether I was prepared to know the truth. The 8th twilight had already ended, and on the 9th twilight, the witch would revive, and nobody would be left alive. It meant that Beatrice had already been revived, and it probably also meant that none of us would be allowed to return alive. If I was going to lose my life anyway, I wanted to know the truth in the end. It didn't matter how hard it might be to accept. Yeah. Even if a demon or a witch shows up, I'm prepared. Indeed, you are just like the master in his youth. Battler-sama, please be diligent in your studies. In the future, you will surely have great aspirations. And when that time comes, see to it that you are never forced to regret a lack of study and training. I'd be happy to, assuming I ever get a chance to work hard in my studies. Genji-san's silence felt like it was further confirming a certain resigned feeling I had. Genji-san.
Genji-san. Also, that song was Swallowtail Butterfly, by the way.
Swallowtail Butterfly.
I think we heard it one time, a long time ago, but to hear it now is interesting.
And then, the door to Grandfather's study, surrounded by a sweet smell, came into sight. Genji-san took a gold key with an elegant design out from his pocket. The master keys had been confiscated by Aunt Rosa, but he'd kept the key to this study alone on his person. He put it in the keyhole, and it made a heavy clunking sound. Master, it is I, Genji. I have brought Battler-sama with me. There was no reply, but it seemed that permission to go inside had been given. Come, Battler-sama. Please, go in. Okay, I'll go in. I readied myself and threw the door open. At that moment, I got slightly disoriented by the dazzling golden glow. It was, unbelievably, a swarm of butterflies that shone gold. The gold butterflies that completely filled the inside of the study poured out all at once. What is this? It was almost like a golden leaf confetti. The interior of Grandfather's study was filled with a golden glow. Grandfather was sobbing on the floor.
True.
And on a sofa like a reception chair in front of the study desk. I could see Grandfather's back. There was someone on the side opposite from Grandfather. It was in shadow, so I couldn't see it well. Of course it was. Master, I've brought Battler-sama.
Battler, is it? I'm busy thinking now.
Are they playing chess?
Be silent for a while.
Kinzo declared that unhappily, his back still turned. It seemed he was enjoying a chess game with a visitor. Apparently, the opponent had counterattacked with a superb move.
Dang.
Kinzo seemed to be enjoying himself as he thought deeply, while occasionally laughing and groaning.
Wow. I have thought for 30 years. I have thought for 30 years about how to counter this move. Have fun. Have fun with the move I have fermented for 30 years. Indeed, this is a deeply matured move. What fun, what fun. I see I'm no match for you.
What is this?
So, you came, Battler. I've been waiting for a while. Be silent for Kinzo's sake. Isn't it too early to resign, Kinzo? I could have countered that move in several ways already.
It should have been me, not him. My first meeting with that witch. However, I knew this witch. Even though it was our first meeting, I knew her from the portrait.
Genji, serve some alcohol for Battler. What would be an appropriate liquor for this man?
That which the master has loved since the days of his youth.
Good, good, serve it. You did well coming here, Ushiromiya Battler. First, sit down. You called my name many times, did you not? In deference to that, I allowed you to meet me. So, what will you ask me?
Mind Palace Battler grinding his teeth right now.
Yeah. What will you inquire? The door of the Golden Land will soon be opened. Soon, we will have a banquet to celebrate my revival, at which I will be welcoming in the witches. In the meantime, I'll answer your questions, as many as you like.
I've got a bunch of things I want to ask. What happened on this island? And why did incidents like these occur? I want to ask about the closed rooms, too. What about the chapel? What about Jessica's room? And the servant room? And Natsuhi's room? And the parlor? There's so much more I want to ask. About the witch's true nature. Is Beatrice really a witch? What's your goal? What do you want to make us do? And why did you call me here? Answer me about everything!
Doink.
Be quiet! You think you'll get answers if you ask?
Don't say that, Kinzo. Fragile and fleeting spiderweb did offer protection from King Harold once. Just like there are no useless things in this world, there are also no useless questions. Very well. I'll answer all your questions.
Magic.
But only on one condition.
You know what it's gonna be. You already
Kiss my shoes. Lick my toes.
know. Mm-hmm. Put peanut butter on one,
Yup,
jelly on the
yup.
other.
What is it?
If you hear everything and are able to accept my existence,
God!
kneel and kiss my shoes.
God damn it! This is getting to fetish territory. She's got something wrong with her.
Oh,
Beyond the murderous stuff.
Beyond.
I called you here because I wanted to make you surrender to me. Kinzo and I made a bet. We bet on which would come first, Kinzo thinking of a new move, or me making you surrender. I don't think I'll lose.
Damn you talking so tough. Yeah, alright. Try and convince me. Try and convince me that you're a witch who can use weird, awesome, powerful magic. If I surrender, I'll kiss you or do anything else.
Whoa.
The witch cackled gloatingly. Then, she glared at him unpleasantly, with eyes that said a man can't go back on his word. Hey, he didn't say he'd kiss your shoes. He said he'd kiss you.
Well said! So, from what question shall I begin? I'll answer everything. Come, what will the first one be?
Fade to black. We don't get to know.
Ah!
It's the questions arc, not the answers arc. It's
I can't do 20 more hours of this.
Levi.
God
Oh, look at the end.
damn it!
Levi, it's answer
And
retention.
then the witch started to tell everything. Ah.
The payoff's gonna be so good
She
when we can
began
finally
answering
answer.
all of Badler's questions. Everything made sense. He was convinced by all of it. And then Badler had no choice but to admit it. The witch certainly did exist.
Boomba.
But did Mind Palace Badler? What followed is a story that needs no retelling. When the king falls and you are defeated, it's time to start reflecting on your finished game. And then, all you can do is set up the pieces one more time.
This is artwork. It's
Yeah,
like ancient Greek.
Strange, classical, yeah.
Or maybe Roman with that X.
Second game, Turn of the Golden Witch result. Dang, it's taking a minute.
Yeah. The last one was really fast, I remember, because you had to go like, do.
Yeah, I had to super speed read it. Was Shirome Cross down on the first Twilight? We've seen these already, because I'm pretty sure it's just their things in the menu.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to read through all of them. We know who died, and when, and how.
Nope.
Still don't
They're
know
all
what chosen by the key
key.
means, unless
No.
unless Beatrice is the key to the Golden Land and she just picks.
Oh.
That might be what it is.
Oh.
We can see which stake pierced.
Yeah.
Pierced everyone now. So stake of Asmodeus, Jessica, Satan, Kanon. We know that. Yup.
Yep. And then next should be Gluttony, which was Beelzebub.
Yup. Beelzebub.
Oh, well, not her.
Mammon was Shannon. Beelzebub was Goda. Lucifer was George. Belphegor, Nanjo, and Leviathan was Kumasawa. Leviathan
Goomba.
is the ankle.
Yeah.
The witch Beatrice, revived, finally opens the door to the Golden Land.
Yeah.
Kenzo, missing on the 10th Twilight, acknowledges the existence of the witch, goes to the Golden Land. Rosa did not invite her, who denied. She was. I talked about that. I talked about that when you went to the bathroom. I said it wasn't Badler anymore, so who was it that was denying her? And it was Rosa. After she, Maria, Golden Land, Genji, Golden Land, Badler, still unsure, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures in the Golden Land. There they choose to revive the dead souls and the love that was lost. After all, if their desire had been a mountain of gold of any size, they would not have been able to receive it. Kenzo chose the person he had loved and lost. Maria chose the lost love of her mother. Genji chose a peaceful sleep.
Dang. Genji Chad. Say the line, Bart.
Sleep peacefully, Beatrice. Let nothing disturb your slumber ever again.
Not that line, the other line.
Oh, always has been?
No, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting.
Oh.
That's
The winner
not
is
it
the
either.
Golden Witch, because time ran out before any of the 18 could solve the riddle of the gold. All 18 died when the seagulls cried. None were left alive.
That's the line, Bart. That's the.
Oh, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think we were gonna finish it this stream,
Bing bong.
and we did it in relatively good time too. We didn't have to do it like we did last time, where we rushed.
Mm-hmm.
Not rushed, but buckled down and did a 5-hour.
Yeah, we
stream.
did like a super long one. This was a pretty average. A
Yeah.
little bit longer.
little bit
but
longer
not,
than normal, but still not anything crazy like that one was.
Yeah.
Ah,
Well.
I guess now we've got a tea party to go to.
A tea party and a quadruple question mark.
Yeah.
Oi.
Ding dong.
I was gonna say, what's it gonna do here?
Ding dong.
Time didn't move?
It didn't move. Shmeep shmop.
Maybe Shmeep Shmop.
Post credits. Oh my god, I love Marvel.
Holy, it's Marvel. Oh gosh. Okay. Where are you, Beatrice? Show yourself, Beatrice.
Rosa finally arrived at the chapel. She pointed her gun around her, screaming the witch's name, but there was no way she would receive an answer. After grimacing slightly, she noisily approached the table where her siblings' corpses still lay exposed and stretched out her arm towards a gold ingot. It was very heavy, but Rosa didn't mind. She wrapped that one up in a blanket and threw it over her shoulder.
At least, just this one. This alone should be worth over 10 million.
Without letting go of her gun, Rosa picked up the gold as well. Her shoulders were screaming, but Rosa didn't mind.
It will happen very soon. Very soon, the door to the Golden Land will open.
Stop laughing with that creepy voice. Where is Beatrice? Yeah, I know she's around here somewhere, right? You know where, right? Where is she?
I don't know. Even if you don't search for her, you'll be able to see her in the Golden Land.
Stop laughing like that. Oh, it almost makes me want to laugh. That's right, that was definitely a witch, definitely a witch. I didn't understand. I thought she was a human calling herself a witch, but I was wrong. That really was a witch. I won't be fooled by something like that. You're there, right? Come out, show yourself. Beatrice!
I told you she'll appear very soon. The door to the Golden Land will be opened.
There's a little more. We're past the end scroll. This is strange for me.
Yeah.
That's right. Isn't that splendid? I cannot. I abandon that rook. You, woman, are a king that cannot be reached without the resolve to lose everything one has. I'll corner you, Beatrice. At least, call me a queen. Oh, what a brilliant move. So your blood, no, the Ushiromia blood is bad at giving up. How pleasant. What an truly elegant night.
I'm imagining the Clash of Clans laugh.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah.
Master, Beatrice Sama, it will soon be time for the banquet.
Already. That was fast. Every night I pass with you goes by swiftly. The moon falls like an apple, and the sun leaps out of the river like a small fish. It is time, so let us go. Rise, battler. The banquet to celebrate my revival will now begin. I'll introduce you as my new furniture. No, as my toy. To the dignitaries among witches.
The witch was relaxing elegantly, her feet thrown out from the sofa and resting atop of a footrest. However, the footrest wasn't a part of the sofa, but a human. Human down on all fours. Beatrice Sama, your silk dress.
You are the guest of honor, but I am the host. I will go out first. It would have been nice if Shannon were here to help dress you, but unfortunately, it seems she no longer remains. She's never around when I want to use her. An entirely useless person. However, you did well to remain here. I'm happy, my friend.
I am grateful for your words.
Good. Wait downstairs, you two. Genji, good work. Set the dress down over there.
Certainly. Well then, Master.
We will go first. Beatrice, I will see you later. Indeed.
Kenzo and Genji left the study. After that, the witch and the dress and the furniture remained.
Do you know why I am not embarrassed to show myself to you naked?
Damn.
It's because you're furniture. Furniture.
Understand? Furniture, just furniture. Who would feel shame at exposing their body to furniture? So there's no reason for me to feel shame in front of you.
The witch rose and her jacket slipped off just from her shoulders. After that, the jacket fell to the ground with a thump. When the furniture respectfully approached to pick up those clothes, the witch gave it a small kick and it fell over. The furniture was afraid of what misconduct it might have shown.
Do you, as furniture, plan to force me to unbutton myself? Stand and undo the buttons. One by one, with care. Quickly. Gracefully. With no mistakes. The guests are being kept waiting, so change my clothes quickly.
Yes.
Undo them with care. Those buttons are each worth more than one of your eyeballs.
Okay.
If you make a mistake and break them, I'll sew your eyeballs in instead.
The entrance hall was bustling with a crowd of shadowy people, and it sparkled gold with the gold butterflies flying about. The gentlemen in suits and tuxedos and the ladies in dresses looked like they were having a great number of friendly chats. At a glance, it might have looked like a fabulous medieval ball. But they had all one thing in common, and that thing was exceedingly bizarre, because all of them had goat heads. Was it a goat mask masquerade? Or did they really have goat heads? It probably couldn't be the latter, but in this bizarre world, I really didn't know which was true. Kinzo was amongst those goat nobles, greeting them. Kinzo's greetings were more respectful than would have been expected, as though these were all honored guests.
What I'm hearing is Kinzo is a goat.
At that time, Genji's voice rang out through the hall. It was a voice calling for silence. That voice stopped the idle chatter, and everyone turned to face Genji. Tonight, we celebrate the appearance of our Golden Witch, who has achieved her revival, the Lady Beatrice. Everyone, please welcome her with your applause. When Genji began to applaud, it quickly spread through the guests and became a roaring ovation. Then the Golden Witch appeared from the top of the large staircase. As she gracefully waved her hand, followed by a piece of furniture she was fond of, she slowly descended the staircase. The goat nobles offered unanimous words of celebration in some long-forgotten language. And those who were deeply intimate embraced, filled with joy at their reunion. As the witch offered greetings of reunion, the witch's furniture followed behind her the whole time. There was a chain around its neck, and the other end was gripped in the witch's hand like it was a trained dog. It wasn't there to restrain him. Those chains were a restraining device whose only purpose was to wound the furniture's dignity. He wasn't permitted to wear anything else on his body. One of the young women goats mixed in with the goat nobles quietly removed her goat mask as the furniture passed in front of her, and she spoke with eyes that had no light in them. That face seemed to belong to a long-haired young girl. I've seen this CG.
You have?
Yep. I was wondering when it was going to happen.
How pitiful.
Oh, Lady Berncastel. Welcome. Do you like my furniture?
That's a nice hobby.
After saying only that, the witch called Bernkenstel once again put on her goat mask and was swallowed up by the shadows of the other tall goats. I feel like she doesn't approve.
Yeah. You can see this is like, yeah, crowd laughing. Ha ha.
Sore loser. She's ticked off, isn't she?
You're not wrong.
The young women goats giggled, and the witch once again let out a high-pitched laugh.
Thank you for gathering here for my sake. Why don't we enjoy to the fullest this banquet of the witch, where old friends have gathered from past and present, east and west? Come, we will eat all night, drink all night, slurp all night, and chew to bits all night as we enjoy ourselves.
And let's just say, my
Paginets. Oh. Look at the clock as it marks when the ending hour and the beginning hour melt together. Come! Let us begin the banquet of the witch!
When the witch announced the beginning of the banquet, the large clock pointed to 2400, or midnight, and the sound of a bell began to ring out.
Come, now is the time! Open the golden door!
Yeah!
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
So that's what all the goat men are saying, yeah.
Yeah. If I was much more patient at editing, I would make that a funny meme edit.
What is happening? All at once, the butterflies leaped in gold, flew all around the inside of the room. Amidst the golden storm and the brilliant gold-colored light, the barrier between this world and another was cut open. Wow. Surrounded by the goats' delighted voices, the mansion of the human world and the mansion of those not human overlapped. And the members of the household who praised the resurrection of the Golden Witch scattered into golden butterflies and poured out of the depths of hell. It was a golden tornado, a rondo of golden demons. Come, tonight we will put aside rank, throw open the wine cellar, drop the snake's head into the liquor pot, throw cows and chickens into the furnace alive, drink and eat and sing and dance, sneer and kill and desecrate and degrade.
Dang. Ah, Beatrice! Take me to the Golden Land now! To the Golden Land! Oh! Ah!
The goat nobles were suddenly crushing in around Kenzo, almost like they were kids demanding the signature of some famous movie star. This is my favorite character!
True!
There were
It's
only
Rosa,
two
Umineko.
differences. First, these were witches, not kids. And second, what these witches demanded was not a signature. The sea of goat nobles began to drown Kenzo. Only Kenzo's laughing voice echoed throughout the area.
Oh!
Epilepsy warning again?
Again?
For the third time this episode? Mm-hmm. It was a grand mixture of laughter and his death throes. These witches are violent, man.
What?
And Kenzo became wine and meat and bread. An aroma, if slurped. Why are they using slurped? I don't like they're using slurped
I
now.
like slurp.
A rich taste if gnawed, and pleasant to tear to bits. The sound of his death throes lingered on sweetly, and if adorned with melted chocolate and golden argent, it would make a wonderful dessert.
I don't know what argent is.
If you took the bones home, you could also use them in a soup. And the remains could even become toys for the children to play with. And they could also become splendid tools for fortune telling that always brought misfortune. That entire scene was watched by the furniture. It was all fantastical. It was all demonic. Was the quaking of its supposedly paralyzed heart proof that it could still feel fear? At that time, its knees buckled and the furniture's body fell down in the middle of the carpet. After all, the witch had kicked those knees from behind.
Kneel and show your respect.
Rub your forehead against the carpet and show how vulgar you are. Put your hands behind your back and swear that you will offer all of your flesh and blood to me.
The furniture let out a painful voice. Fear is the most basic emotion humans have. Was that emotion reviving his sense of self, which should already have been slain?
So, you are still far from suitable for my furniture. Very well. I will carefully finish you, making you into the kind of furniture I like, the kind fitting only for me. As you are now, I doubt you can offer more than entertainment for our guests.
The goat nobles were surrounding the crouching furniture. It seemed their blazing blood-red eyes couldn't hide their ecstasy at this new young food they'd been given. And from the ugly teeth that stuck out of countless mouths, saliva, or maybe the traces of meat and wine that they had just eaten, dribbled down. As the furniture let out a wild scream, it retreated, still sitting on its backside. But the circle of goat nobles was closing in. Then, the furniture looked at the witch's face. It had surrendered to the witch, so, believing that the witch would show some compassion, it stared at her face in the end. But there was nothing but scorn on the witch's face, and she wasn't even facing the furniture anymore. The witch went off to greet an honored guest with whom she had crossed gazes. The goat nobles looked down upon the furniture. Actually, they had been waiting. Just like how one must remove the cork in order to drink champagne. They had to wait for one thing before partaking of the offering served at this banquet. Of course, the furniture didn't know about this thing, but it came out of his mouth all by itself. Just like the unavoidable pop of a cork, it inevitably came out of his mouth. Yeah. It was a scream. It was a sign that marked the beginning of the modest banquet at which he was to be served.
Dang. Dang.
Epilepsy warning! I got
I'm
an
not a
achievement
monster. Oh, you
for
didn't?
completing episode 2.
Oh.
Oh, but we're still not done.
World End Dominator's back.
By now, the garden was one of both roses and gold. A gold-colored garden where gold butterflies, gold fairies, and gold lizards rampaged and flew about wildly.
Maria, quickly! Run! Quickly, 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 quickly!
Rosa grasped her gun and the blanket wrapped around the ingot, and ran at a speed Maria couldn't match, sometimes pausing to call out at Maria to run faster. So she saw it every time. She saw the golden pursuers chasing them from the mansion. The mass of gold butterflies was chasing after them like a massive crawling hand, and strange-looking shadows with goat heads were chasing after them. There was no need for her to strain her eyes, because those blazing pupils told her what would happen if she was captured.
Mama, wait! Mama, wait! Ooh. Ow!
Maria fell down. For just an instant, Rosa was ashamed by thoughts of abandoning her daughter and running away, and at the instant her feet touched the ground, she ran back. The goat head that had sprinted over to get the first bite grabbed hold of the back of Rosa's own child hair and pulled.
Mama! No!
Rosa ran into the goat head with her shoulder. You didn't shoot it with your gun? Spun, bashed the back of her elbow into the goat's jaw, and buried her knee into its protruding chest. She thrust the barrel of the gun inside the goat head's mouth as it doubled over from the pain in its gut.
Just try laying one finger on Maria in front of me.
He did.
I'll show you just how lukewarm the hell you came from is.
The blast from the Winchester's .45 caliber long Colt bullet exploded inside the goat head's throat. And its medulla oblongata was instantly pulverized. Interesting that you had to specify that. The goat's head hadn't understood. It had thought women were like pre-opened wine bottles.
Dang.
It had thought that turning them upside down would immediately make their deep red contents come out.
Mama! Mama!
Maria, who had been released, hugged Rosa. But the pursuers were still coming. They could see the giant goat heads who had given up pretending to be human running towards them from across the rose bushes. Rosa spilled several extra bullets, which had been in the pocket of her coat, all over the place, and told Maria to pick them up.
Yes! Pick up! Pick up!
Maria, if Mama falls down, run. Go to the shore. And swim, and swim, and swim. There's nowhere for us to survive on this island.
No! I'll stay with Mama!
Rosa's gun roared 4 times. But even though 4 shots really did hit the massive approaching goats in the chest, they didn't even flinch. The goats ran with a violent vigor as though they planned to crush Rosa and Maria with those massive bodies.
Put the bullets in. Quickly.
Rosa grasped the blanket with the ingot in both hands, and she herself sprinted, pulling it along, without even an ounce of fear of the strange-looking giants. If it's to protect my daughter, I'll overcome even hell.
I'll show you. This golden dream. Whoa.
Rosa roared. The goat heads roared. That terribly heavy ingot, after picking up a fearsome centrifugal force and speed, slammed into the head of the goat head. Rosa pulled up a fountain pen from her pocket, but she held it crooked. She placed it in her palm, and the gap between her middle finger and her ring finger so that it stuck out when she made a fist, almost like a stinger was growing out of it. That stinger sliced into the left eye of the goat head as it fell over. It was the goat's head's roar a scream, but Rosa's roar was different. She pulled back her fist and slammed it into the fountain pen that was still sticking into the goat head's eye. The pointed tip was gouged into the depths of its head.
Mama, the bullet went in!
Good job.
When Rosa grabbed the gun Maria had thrown, damn,
Yeah.
the giant finally tumbled on the ground with a thunderous crash. However, at the same time, I saw the goat head pursuers on the other side of the rose bushes increase in number. I've gained enough distance for now. I held onto the blanket wrapped around the ingot and the gun and once again ran with Maria. Why am I running with a gun in my right hand and the gold in my left? Why don't I let go with one hand and grasp Maria's hand? I can't let go of the gun that protects my body. I can't let go of the gold that protects my future. But even so, I've let go of the hand of my daughter, the one who is my future. Run, run, run. She got out of the rose garden and began to run down a staircase through a grove of trees. But Rosa knew. This path through the grove turned and twisted many times and only seemed to be long. She tore straight through it. She had played here often since her childhood years, so she knew. To the beach, to the beach, to the sea, the sea, the sea. And after reaching the sea, nothing to do but swim, swim, swim. And if Maria can't swim, I'll carry her as I swim. There's nothing but death on this island.
Kya!
Mama?
As she raced down the stairs, she took a bad step. A violent pain ran up her left ankle, and her mind went completely blank. Rosa fell down several stairs, shocked by her ankle, which was bent at an odd angle. Oof!
Ouchie.
And then the blanket with the ingot wasn't there. She had let go of it the instant she fell, and it had disappeared somewhere into the darkness. Only the gun was left. Tremors in the earth were getting closer. It was only a matter of time before the goat heads flooded in. She didn't want to imagine how many there would be, or how strange they would look. And the lightly dancing gold pursuers arrived. The gold butterflies surrounded Rosa and Maria, waving and clamoring as though saying, "The prize is here. The prize is here." Rosa couldn't even try to get up. The violent pain from her broken ankle was so great that she couldn't ignore it, even in her last moments. Ah, what am I doing? I had the gold, which would have been worth several million yen. I might have been able to start over with that. And yet I fell, lost it, and now my own life is in danger. And Maria's too? What has my life been? I was born into an incomprehensible family. You can say that again. With irritating older siblings since the day I was born. What did I do? No matter what I did or didn't do, I was always in trouble and bullied and made fun of. What has my life been?
Mama! Mama! Mama!
The roar inside Rosa's heart shriveled away and disappeared. It disappeared when she heard Maria's crying voice as she sobbed and clung to Rosa.
Maria. Mama remembered something she's got to do. Please, go on ahead.
No! 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 I want to stay with Mama! I don't want Mama to die!
Maria, even though I'm such a bad mama, you still say you want to stay with me?
Yeah! I want to stay with you! I want to stay with Mama!
I made it look like I was putting you first, but I was always putting you off. I went to your athletic meet. I went to Parents' Day. But I was always thinking about how I appeared to the world, and you were never in my eyes. Are you saying that you want to stay with that kind of mother? Even though I've been such a bad mother?
Hey, Mama. Did you know? You're my only Mama in this world. There's no good Mama or bad Mama. There's just one Mama. So I don't need any other Mama in this world. And I want to be your one and only Maria. The Maria you want to spoil when you're in a good mood. And the Maria who's a nuisance and you don't want to be around aren't different people. There's only one Maria. So the scary Mama and the nice Mama are the same. To me, they're my one and only Mama.
I was such an idiot. I didn't need gold. If only I just pulled you by the hand. I was such a stupid mama.
And the shadows of the goats covered the sky even more thoroughly than the trees of the forest. Their roars blotted out the world with fear. Rosa, still hugging Maria, readied her gun with one hand.
Maria, let's go together. I'll never leave you. Let's always stay together so that Mama never gets lost again.
Yeah, we'll be able to see each other soon. We'll be together forever. we'll be able to see each other in the Golden Land. And then we'll play together. Play with the wolves and sheep puzzle. Mama hasn't solved more than one of the puzzles, but I've solved them all. So I'll be the riddle giver.
She had bought it as a birthday present, and then hadn't played it with Maria after that first night.
Yes, we'll play together. I promise.
Mama!
Those eyes, sparkling like red-hot lava, looked just like a group of fireflies. They danced, closed in, and attacked.
Ah, come on! Let whoever wants to eat the bullet Maria chambered for me step forward! Ah! I'm waiting.
Musul.
Oh.
Oh wait, no, that was Musul. That's what that was. That's the
Yeah?
achievement I just got. And it was a picture of Rosa's face. The achievement description is, need I say more? I don't know what that means in Japanese.
I don't either.
Tea party?
Oh, not now. I gotta eat. I'm hungry. But
Alright.
thoughts?
Oh! We got nothing. I wanted answers and they gave us nothing. Not even an IV, not even a drip. Nothing. Just more questions, brother.
I looked it up. That means unrivaled, by the way.
Ah.
Well, give some thoughts on the episode in its whole. I'll be right back because I have to go get something from my front door that hopefully hasn't been stolen.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Well, what can you say about episode 2? Yeah, oof. The first half, super long build-up, if you all remember, with all the dating arcs and everything that was going on, but dang, did it get spicy quick. In the second half, holy schmoly. Everything was all over the place. I felt like this one was like even more chaotic than episode 1 just because of the infighting, right? Everyone was infighting the entire time and they were suspecting each other. And Battler was trying to solve everything without suspecting any of his family while also disproving Beatrice. And like this one, I was just saying, I just feel like 2 was a lot more chaotic than 1 was.
Oh yeah.
Just because of the sheer amount of infighting that was happening between everyone, which 1 was not as... In 1, everyone pretty much trusted each other right up until the very end when they got into Kenzo's room.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, it was crazy.
I don't want to give it away, but especially in the question arcs, you get to see how different adults handle being the last adult, pretty much.
I see.
This is Rosa's turn,
Okay.
obviously, and the first one was Natsuhi's turn.
So then that leaves Eva / Hideyoshi or Kyrie and Rudolph.
And Kraus by himself, I suppose, as well.
Please don't.
Yeah, that would be the worst, I think.
I've got you all figured out, which gets split down the middle instantly.
He would be the one be like, I figured it out, and then, like, shoots himself.
Yeah! Yeah! No, it's clear. The way out, if the Golden Land really exists, we are in some kind of pocket dimension, and we simply have to kill ourselves.
Yes, he
Just
so
it.
would.
No,
They
babe,
retrieve
they retrieve gold. And then he like does it, he shoots himself, and then the next sprite is just Natsuhi with that face she makes.
Yeah.
the pained expression
Yep.
that she
The
does.
headache face. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
okay.
that aside, the mysteries. How was this done without magic?
Badler over here with his big mouth in episode 1.
I know.
Beatrice pulled all the stops this episode. And
I want to end it off the same way we did episode 1 because I think it'll be cool to look back on. So we'll go one by one.
okay.
And you tell me what your current conclusion is about it. So
Okay.
for starters, before we even get to a mystery, I guess it's the chapel, right?
Yeah.
How was the chapel done without magic?
That one was solved already, wasn't it?
Battler had put forth something that worked.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that was the solution.
And isn't that also what I came up with before he said it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole key switcheroo thing going on, yeah, that would be how I would, since I already did that one. Yeah.
Okay. So next up, Jessica's room and Kanon.
I put forward something about Kumasawa, but I don't remember if it fits with the red truths because I don't remember the red truths that
I
got
can get
posited
them.
about it.
Let me see.
But I remembered Kumasawa hadn't woken up yet. She came into the room and was like, "Oh, I was asleep." Blah, 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 blah. And all of the events that happened in Jessica's room were supposedly like in that little time frame where they hadn't come back into the house yet. So it could have been Kumasawa's key was how I was getting to that. Was it could have been the same kind of deal where Kumasawa was asleep, Beatrice got her key, killed them, locked the door, after taking Kanon's body out of the room, I think, but that might not line up with the red truths that were said.
Kanon was killed in this room. It doesn't say anything necessarily about moving his body out of the room.
Okay. So then,
It's just that, yeah.
yeah, Beatrice did that, moved the body out of the room, perhaps stashed it somewhere briefly, because I would find it very hard for her to, without magic, move the body and also put the key back where it should be with Kumasawa at the same time. So perhaps stash the key somewhere, put the key back with Kumasawa, like right before Kumasawa woke up. Gets out of there, gets back to wherever Kanon is, waits for all of them to go in there and be like, "Oh, blah, 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 blah," and while they're all distracted with that, moves the body. The Bible.
Yeah. Okay. And I think that lines up with the red truth, because most of it is just there's no hidden doors. Alright. Then, what's next? Oh, the revived Kanon in the servants' room. Nanjo and Kumasawa. No magic.
Mass hysteria.
Yeah?
That's the only thing I can think of because I can't say body double because it exploded into golden butterflies when they dealt with it.
Yeah.
So I can't say it was like some body double that the murderers had there that Beatrice brought to the island. So the only thing I could give to that situation is mass hysteria from the servant people.
And then just someone died. But then what about the locked room part? The fact that it was also locked.
Mass hysteria, and in the hysteria, both, perhaps because of the hysteria, Genji, who's good with knives, we learned this, thought that Kumasawa and Nanjo were the Kanon, so slit their throats. And then everyone was like, "Oh, I can't believe Kanon did that." And then, locked room.
That's the yeah.
This was before they gave up the keys.
It was,
So,
but they were all in there.
and they had taken Kanon's key off of Jessica.
Yep.
So it couldn't have been Kanon's key. And everyone had their keys at this point.
Someone had to lock that room. There was the only other key as well, which is the key to the servant's room that's not a master key. That is also in play, but it would have been in the box,
It would have been in the box,
which is in the room.
which is in the room. However, was the red truth that no one was in the room while they were in there when they came back? Or in general, there was no person hiding in the room ever.
It was, no one exists in this room except your group. Your group refers to Battler, George, Maria, Rosa, Genji, Goda, and Shannon.
That's... I don't know how that applies to that or not. Because I was going to say,
Yeah.
if it doesn't apply to the former situation, someone was hiding in the room when the murders happened, everyone leaves to go tell them that the murders happened, they get out, but the key was still in there. Oh,
Yeah.
no, that still doesn't work. But the key was still in there after the fact, so they had to have gotten the key back in there somehow.
Yep.
And I'm guessing since this is the 80s, we're assuming these aren't like modern doors where where for a lot of them you can lock them and then close them. You have to lock them after they're closed.
Probably. I'm trying to read. There's so many red truths. She red bombards you in this one.
Yeah.
The door and the window do not permit any kind of entry or exit when they are locked. That doesn't necessarily forbade it. It is impossible to unlock the door without a servant room key or the master key. Oh, here's one thing for you earlier, though. No humans exist that you are not aware of. No one is hiding.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. No method exists by which the door can be locked from the outside without using a key.
Okay.
Same for the window.
I mean, I could, but they all denied locking it, right? When they got back, they were like, I didn't lock it.
I think so.
Because I could just say that one of them locked it when they left. That could also be part of mass hysteria, that they didn't think they locked it, but they locked it. That's really the only thing I can kind of go with.
Or if it's not mass hysteria, there's one other way that could have happened.
And the key still be in there?
Or someone lied.
Or someone lied. True.
They don't speak in red. They're just people.
Yeah. I guess I'm just still too battler pilled. I'm still trying to think of it from the perspective of no one in the family did it.
Is a problem, yeah. Seems like that's what you're at, though. Is mass hysteria, someone lied, and or from one of those two avenues, someone locked the door.
Yeah. Someone, the avenue that is being taken is in some way someone had to have locked the door after they left the room. That was in that group that went to the parlor.
So you're including, what would that be, Genji, Goda, Shannon? Mm-hmm. Because they were the three that were in there that lived.
And they still had their master keys at that time because it was after this happened that they gave up the master keys.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the next and truly last one. Natsuhi's room. George, Shannon, and Goda. How is that not magic?
This one I think is a lot more simple, actually. It was Genji.
Oh, yeah? Genji did it?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. He found him, killed him, locked the room.
He knew where they were going, so he would have known to get, well, but then there's still the problem of Natsuhi's key being in there. Wait, let me think.
Yep.
Because I was going to say he knew where they were going, so he could have gotten the key to open the door.
But they had it.
But how? They had the key in there.
And he didn't have a master key.
He didn't have a master key, so how would that's the one problem, is how would the door have been locked after everything happened when they got out?
With the key still in there.
With the key still in there. He did say it took about 2 to 3 hours, didn't he? Or did he say 1 to 2 hours?
He said 2 to 3.
2
That's
to 3?
a lot of time.
All right, hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay.
I'm going tiny bombs mode right now.
Dang, okay, that's good. That's good.
Genji is a man of many mysteries. We're not sure what he's capable of. He did all of that, and then he used a toolkit to remove the lock from the door and put on a new one, which he could lock before it was complete, because he could lock it while it was its guts were open. He could lock it, and then he completed it and finished the lock on the door. He had 2 to 3 hours to do it.
That may work. I want you to know the red truth regarding Natsuhi's room is there were no fraud or tricks, no means of secret passage, nor places in which to hide.
Okay, but what does fraud or tricks fall under? Is that a trick?
I don't know.
Is that a trick or is that just
Maybe.
him?
It does say that the door and the windows were locked from the inside, if that helps you.
From the inside, yeah. I would take that on a technicality of he couldn't have done the lock replacing because he would have had to have done it from the outside, which would mean there would have to be someone inside. Was there anything mentioned about anyone hiding in that one, or was it just no frauds, tricks?
No frauds or tricks, no means of secret passage, nor places in which to hide.
Places in which to hide.
This is the last one. Unless you want to count the corpses being found outside, but that's, I mean... Oh, and the parlor letter. I forgot about that one, too. It's tough, isn't it?
It was none of the people who were not in the room. It was all the people in the room. And they killed each other in a Mexican standoff type situation.
Yeah?
After Goda locked them in to try to get them.
Oh, okay.
So they just ended up killing each other.
In some roundabout way.
In some roundabout crazy way, yes.
And then someone locked the room with them dying inside?
No, Goda locked the room when they got in because he was trying
I
to
see
trap
what you mean.
everyone in there.
And then they all died.
And then they all died, so no one could unlock the door to get out.
Okay. Okay. That works. I think that clears it. That clears the red truth test.
And that one's
Okay.
not Battler Pill. That is suspecting that either Goda or Shannon or George or all of them in some way are guilty.
Yeah. Okay. That leaves two more mysteries, sort of. The first being Nanjo and Kumasawa's corpses disappearing and then reappearing. Out of a locked room and then into a... Well, out of a locked room and then into the courtyard.
And there was no secrets in the locked room they were in, so it couldn't have been whisked away that way. Was it no secrets in the locked room in that one, or was it just no hiding people in that one?
Let me go back to it. Possible. I'm not for sure, but it does say entry or exit is impossible except for the single door and single window.
Whoa.
But in this case, it is a little different because their bodies moved between. Well, if someone locked the door, then it would have had to have gone through a locked door. Never mind.
No. La. La la. Now you're stumped too. You're stumped in trying to create a way that this could work without magic. Oh.
I mean, I know the solutions, but
La la.
even I can't think of anything other than the solution
La, la,
at this
la,
point.
la. What even would be a non-magical solution to that? The only way of exit and entry is through the door or the window. The door and window are both locked.
Yep.
So someone has to have locked them from the inside. There's no one who is not in that group when they get back there in the room.
Yep.
So unless they can lock something from the inside from the outside, that person would have had to have been in there. Or unless they can do that Adam thing we were talking about where they just happened to get it right and phase through the wall at the right time.
That's what I was thinking about Genji earlier when we were talking about Natsuhi's room, was he just locked the door from the inside and then vroom. But for the servant's room, it does not say that it was locked from the inside. They were locked, but not from the inside, necessarily.
True.
It's only for Nazi's room that it was locked from the inside.
Okay, then. So if we're continuing down the line of thought that someone locked it by either lying or mass hysteria, then it's easy to say that if it was a mass hysteria situation where they're crazy, or if they were lying and they were guilty, they simply waited for everyone else to leave and then took the bodies out, did the Kanon thing of stashing them somewhere probably nearby because they probably couldn't have gotten very far without making a scene, and then, yeah, they locked the door. And it would have had to have been Shannon or Genji or Gora.
Yeah. Okay. Then that leaves the last mystery, the letter in the parlor, when it was just Rosa, Battler, and Maria. How did that get there?
Rosa did it.
Rosa just did it?
Rosa walked into the room first and Battler hung back. Remember?
That's true.
He said that. So she could have walked in, placed that there. Battler notices it and is like, oh, what's this? And then she immediately is like, you're lying. You're a liar. Stupid. Stupid. You're a liar. Stupid. She's gaslighting him.
Yeah?
Immediately.
Okay.
That is a solution to it. That is a...
It is. That is a non-magical solution. Okay. So that's your answer for everything that happened.
I don't care if they all don't mesh together at all. I don't care if I'm not defining a singular murderer. I'm Battler. I just need a way that it could work without magic.
Oh, all right. And then any final thoughts on that final scene we were shown of Rosa and Maria running? And,
I cried.
And the big banquet and all that. You did?
I cried at the final scene with Rosa and Maria, yeah. When Maria was saying the thing about there only being one Rosa and one Maria, because it was like, aw, she knows her mom's crazy, but she loves her anyways.
Right, they're very sweet. They're toxic and not good people.
They're very
but
toxic, but there is genuine love under the gunk.
Yes.
They just need to clean that gunk.
So, how do you feel about Rosa after episode 2?
Oh, I have very mixed emotions. Very mixed emotions on Rosa. I think she's a very well-written character. Because I can't pin down a specific, like, I love her or I hate her. Like, I think she makes a lot of mistakes. She's super paranoid. But at the same time, every once in a while, she does get things right, too. Like, she realizes at the end there, I should have been a better mother instead. And, I mean, sometimes the hyper-paranoia might pay off. And actually protect people. Who knows? But I do think that, yeah, when it was doing this episode, the whole, like, comparison of her to the siblings, it makes very much sense how they were writing her character to turn out that way and why she was acting the way she was. And her wanting the gold still at the very end. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that ending sequence quite a lot, personally. That's one of my favorite moments from Umineko.
Yeah.
The ending of Turn of the Golden Witch. Because not only does it have Rosa saying the baddest line of all time, saying, I'll show you how lukewarm the hell you came from is. That line goes so freaking hard. But also, it's her saying the thing about, like, in one hand, I have the gun that protects my body. In the other, I have the gold that protects my future. But I've given up the hand that is my future.
Yep.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
It do rhyme.
Okay. I've held you captive long enough. Just wanted to sum up your thoughts on the episode since it's over.
Also, I just wanted to say that I thought it was very funny that we didn't get to see Battler talk to human Beatrice at all, but it just said in the credits like, yep, no, he conceded.
Yeah,
It was
true.
too much.
He forfeited.
It was too, yeah, she was just right. That was very funny to me. And I also thought it was very funny that we didn't get to see Mind Palace versions of the two of them, because I'm sure the entire time that was happening, the other Battler was like, no! You idiot! You stupid idiot!
Yeah, human Battler's kind of like a loser. Repeatedly.
Oh, I can't wait for 40 more hours of that then.
Oh,
I have to check now how many hours I have in this. Wait.
true. We are now technically 1/4 the way through it.
Yes, we are 25% of the way through. If
Yep.
roughly every playthrough I've done is even, it actually has been about 20 hours each, because I played through episode 1 on my own time originally, and then we did it again, and I have 65 hours in the game.
Yep, plus Tea Party and the question marks.
Yep.
Boomba.
Each one. That means by the end of this, it can be expected that I will have roughly between 180 to 200 hours in the game from a single playthrough.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm hungry. I'm ready to
Yep.
go.
Yeah, I should probably eat too.
Yeah.
And you all out there, go get your. I know you've been so engaged watching us that you just couldn't be torn away from your screen. So I will give you now the peace. Sleep. I forget what he says. Something about the Beatrice witch. Sleep soundly. Yeah, you do that. Bye bye.
Honk shoe.